Hey everyone, just a quick disclaimer before the show begins today. This epic length episode was meant to be a show all about podcasting and how to do that. And what you'll notice within about 5 minutes of the episode is that does not happen. The agenda was there, our hearts were in the right place, but it just ended up being a very conversational show, which I actually think is better. It is very enjoyable and entertaining, but we do not attack the brief at all. So, with that in mind, it's now time to also let you know that this show is not brought to you by terrors at midnight or horrors that we love. It is, however, brought to you by the magic of friendship. So, enjoy the episode. Welcome to I Was a Teenage Film Snob. I'm James Chalmers, your friendly neighborhood film snob. And guys, this is a very different episode. We're not going to talk about apocalypse films this week. We might not even talk about movies this week. We probably will a little bit. Instead, we're going to talk about my second favorite medium. Obviously, I love films, but I also love podcasting. So not only is it going to be the most meta episode, it's probably going to be the most unbearable because we're going to get very pretentious and snobby in here. But because it's such an unusual topic to talk about on the show, you have to bring the sex, right? So I've brought along today two young and sexy virile men to help me talk about podcasting, two of my favorite people in the world. They've been on the show before. I've been on their show. It's going to be an all-around love fest. Someone used the phrase sausage fest before, and hey, who knows how it's going to go. So all the way from Utah and the We Love Horror podcast, it's Michael Siri.
Hi, guys.
There he is. And from South Carolina, got corrected on that one before, and the Midnight Terrace podcast, it's Kevin. Welcome, Kevin and Michael.
I am not worthy. I am not worthy.
It is going to be a sausage fest. A sausage fest indeed. Woo!
And I don't edit my shows, so that's staying.
Yay.
Wow.
No, thank you for having me, James. This is, and Michael, it's good to see you again, brother. This is something I'm looking forward to for a while.
This has been something we planned. I mean, we started planning this almost a year ago, and then we finally set a date a month ago, and now it's happening. So yes, I'm so excited.
I kind of put a post up last night. I was like, this is going to be the most ambitious show ever. And people are like, did you have 6 people on episode 50? It's like, yeah, but this is multiple time zones. Like this is international. And it makes sense that we should finally do a crossover, all three of us, because we've all been I'm doing it now. We've all been on each other's shows. For people wondering why I'm slurring, haven't been drinking. It is the earliest I've ever recorded an episode. Like Michael and I got on just a little bit before Kevin, and we'd both just woken up. So
yeah,
don't let James
his 6 o'clock. His 6 o'clock in the morning is 3 p.m. for me. So
don't let James lie to you. He's been just putting him back to deal with me and Michael. You know.
Yeah, he started tossing shots back in the middle of our conversation a little while ago. He's like,
"Geez, these Americans." Okay, let me.
he's like sneaking him off shot. He's like,
it's so exciting to have you guys on the show. Like a little behind this, we've been talking for over an hour before we started recording,
which is about the usual.
Yeah, absolutely. But one of the reasons this episode exists is I mentioned to you guys, I'm like, I get a lot of people asking me about, why do you do the podcast? How did you start it? How do I start a podcast? And then Kevin had mentioned he'd done some panels, which is very cool. Kevin, by the way, is just going to brag the entire time because before the show, he was listing all of his accomplishments, and Michael and I were feeling very inferior.
No, dude, not at all. Not at all.
And Michael, we haven't really talked about it one-on-one or privately, but I imagine you probably get quite a bit of that as well. Like I think you work with more podcasters than Kevin and I combined. Like I feel like you've got a regular rotation of 20 plus guests.
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, because you have to do, not to quote, I can't remember her name from fucking oh my gosh, what is that movie? That A24 movie that came out? bodies, which he's like, it's very hard to do a podcast. You have to come up with a set, a guest list, an itinerary, a Google Calendar. Yeah, it's very much like
I felt very seen in that moment.
So did I.
That's our whole discussion right there, is how hard it is to do a podcast.
Like before you came online, Kev, like Michael and I were literally just like, because Michael is taking a break at the moment on his show, like which as he was very positive. It's like, hey, it's a great time to catch up. Like if you're behind on the show, it's a good time to catch up. But we were kind of talking about the ins and outs of it, and we're the only hosts on our show. Kevin, you hosted with Jason, obviously, and I was talking to you about it last week, and you're like, well, I do most of the work. Just to throw Jason under the bus where he can't defend himself.
Shade.
Worded differently, but it's I was talking earlier this morning with I'm assuming this one will come out after this episode, but I just did a crossover with Paul, or Rated PG, from Mutant City Horror, and we were talking about that whole dynamic that even when you have a co-host, so like, yes, on my show, like the planning and the booking, the recording, the editing, all that stuff, yes, is me. But Midnight Terrors still isn't Midnight Terrors if Jason isn't there. Don't get me wrong, all of our guests are fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And it is still Midnight Terrors as a whole. But a lot of what people like about the show is that dynamic between Jason and I.
Absolutely.
So like it is. See, this is how I talk. I backtrack a lot. It is Midnight Terrors when it's me and any guest that comes on the show. But Jason really brings a lot of stuff to the show, in that he's the really fun one and very lighthearted. He's the jokester, absolutely. And it's that dynamic between each other. But yeah, there's a lot that goes into when you have a co-host. But I've been on the other side of that, where I've had to do it by myself, because I'm a bit of a. We were talking off air before we started recording, and James was like, "You are just you are just insane right now with what you're working on." And I'm like, "Yeah, I just go. It never stops, but it's what I love to do. So I'm gonna, keep on going."
Yeah.
I think that's how I'm sorry, go on.
Sorry. No, you go.
I was just saying, I think that's why we all do it, is it's just that it's the love of it. And it's not even like, it's like, I don't know, like I still feel silly using the word podcast in like regular conversation. It feels like it would be like me trying to have a really serious conversation about the Power Rangers. It feels like it's out of place in general conversation, but it's like we all clearly are fans. And Michael, you were touching on this before we start. Sorry, Michael, Kevin, you talked about this before, but actually Michael, you did as well, is that like we do this because we love movies and we just always want to remain fans, like no matter how integrated we get. And believe me, I'm not integrated at all. Like my big celebrity guest was my mum, as I mentioned on a few shows now. But it's just, we do it because we love talking to other people about movies. Like it's interesting that you say that Jason is kind of like the heart or the passion of your show, because I'm the least, in my opinion, and this is not me kind of self-deprecating, I'm the least important part of my show. Like I am there to facilitate the interesting guests. Like my philosophy has always been like, I want to talk to fun and interesting people about the things they love. So I will guide you, I'll give you prompts, but really it's everyone's show but mine. That's the way I've always approached it.
Yeah. And I agree with that, in that, whether it's just me or whether it's me and Jason, it's a good way to put it. We are the catalyst for talking with other people, talking with other people about what they love, which in our sense is horror. And, it's I've always said, it sounds so corny, but it's the truth, that around our show and in this community of podcasting between us three and many, many other shows, it is a family.
Yes.
Yeah,
I was just telling my friend the other day, I said, I think I have more online friends like from my podcasting community than I do real friends. I'm like, I don't know if that's a sad thing to admit, but like, I'm like, I feel like I talk more with people online than I do with like people in my everyday life. But yeah, but I also like wanted to say that I almost kind of feel guilty in a sense, because I'm on a episode with you guys talking about how much we love podcasting, and I'm the one that's taking like a huge hiatus right now. And I was also telling James, like before Kevin hopped on, I was like, I kind of like, and this, I'm not saying that I'm not gonna come back or ever come back or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, right now, I don't really miss it. Like I miss talking to everybody, like I miss interacting with everybody, but I'm like, I don't miss the stress of having to like put together like episodes and get guests and stuff like that. And I just feel like that was getting to be too much for me. So that's why I'm taking a break right now. It's just because I was just like, I need to focus on other shit in my life because I got to get my shit together. COVID really like fucked everything up for me like the past 3 years. And I know it did it for a lot of people. So I can't say that it's just me, but like, yeah, I've gone downhill in the last 3 years. So I'm like, I really need to work on my like physical and mental health right now. And this podcast is not helping with that. So I'm like, that's why I'm taking a break. But I almost like I feel kind of guilty for being on the show with you guys, talking to you guys how much we love podcasting when I'm not even doing it right now. But I still love it. And I still love being with you guys. And I love talking to you guys because if it wasn't for my podcast, I wouldn't be here with you guys. So
well,
yeah.
I think that's important to point out though, is that this part's a little hard to explain to if you're someone that has never done a podcast. There's a lot more to doing a podcast than just being on the microphone. So like Michael, with your case, even though you're not really recording right now, We Love Horror is still very much alive. You know, you're on socials, you talk with us and you're interacting with fans of the show. And there's so much more that goes into it other than here's an episode, here's a special guest.
Right. You know, really the episode is almost the least important part. Like,
it's really.
Although
it's
I will
really
say,
like a presence on there.
I will say, like both of your shows are two of my favorite podcasts, and like I'm not just saying that because you're guests here. Like before October, when we all met Tyler and Harley, like if we're going to reference at some point, we might as well say it again.
Thanks, guys. Again,
thank you, Harley and Tyler. We love you.
Tyler and Harla, as I said on Midnight Terrors recently. I only listen to podcasts, like not so much celebrity podcasts, but there were people that I kind of followed on social. I kind of found so I only listened to podcasts that, were kind of in the mainstream. And you guys were the first independent shows I listened to. And now, like, I've actually found I've cut most of my mainstream podcasts out of my listen queue. I just don't have time for it. But if there's a Midnight Terrors, if there's a We Love Horror, I'm like, yes, I need to, because your shows are both so fantastic. You're both such great hosts. And Jason, obviously, as well. I don't want to not throw him his props because he's not here. So I'm always looking forward to that. And the beauty of the independent podcast is I don't know any of your guests anyway. Do you know what I mean? So like with a popular podcast, if they, like the Nerdist, for example, like going back a few years, they used to always like interview celebrities. If it was a celebrity I didn't care about, I was going to skip that episode. But like I know that my favorite celebrities, Michael is always going to be on We Love Horror and Kevin's always going to be on Midnight Terror. So I know it's going to be a great show. And the track record proves, like, there hasn't been a show of yours, of either of yours, I was doing, like, well, that was, not their greatest one. Like, it's always, like, consistently good, so.
Thank you. That means a lot. What? That's so nice. And your show is fucking incredible, too, so.
Agreed.
It's pretty great.
I know you like to do the self-deprecation thing, James, but your show is really, really good. Like,
yeah, can we all put a disclaimer out there that, we know James's personality. We know he loves to downplay stuff, but like his show is so much fun and so much about the love of film, but not even just the love of film. It's like the love for pop culture. And I think, James, like the title holds true that I was a teenage film snob. It's about love of film, but like the amount of stuff that you touch on your show, again, and Michael, same to you. These are what my favorite podcasts consist of. If I'm listening to a show and I feel like I'm there in the room with the conversation that's going on, those hosts have done their job. And both of you are so good at that.
And you feel like you want to be there to insert your 2 cents. You're like, yes, exactly. That's how I feel too. Or like, I love shows like that.
First of all, thank you. That's very lovely. And I do self-deprecate, especially when I'm on other people's shows. But I do work really hard on the show. Like I have no measure or gauge of what's good because my whole philosophy is like there's no such thing as good or bad. It just is what it is, and people like what they don't. But I do really appreciate that. But the same goes for your shows. I was literally listening to an episode of We Love Horror the other day, and you mentioned you're doing underrated Final Girls, and you mentioned Tree from Happy Death Day, and I went yes. And I was driving in my car. There was no one else there. I was like, yes, I'm so glad they mentioned Tree. And then I was listening to an episode of Midnight Terrors, and I think it was the House of a Thousand Corpses episode, which is great, by the way. Like your House
that
of a
is
Thousand
such a good episode.
So good.
Oh,
You guys
you.
mentioned something. I'm like, I'm so glad you mentioned that. Like, again, to no one. I was like cleaning the dishes at like 11 o'clock at night. I was like, good. So, yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, Kevin, like that is not my favorite movie. Like I'm not a big fan of the House of a Thousand Corpses. It's actually one of my, and I know I'm probably going to get like a lot of people being like, are you
booed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like there, it's a good thing you're taking a hiatus because maybe you should take a permanent one now. I don't know. But like, that's probably one of my least favorite Rob Zombie films. Like, and it's probably just because it's like, for me, it just hasn't aged well. Like there's certain things I like about it, but I'm like, it was his first film, so it's pretty rough for me personally. And I don't know. I don't get too much enjoyment from it, but listening to your podcast and like that episode, like made me kind of want to watch it again and like see it in like a different, like kind of lens. So.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. That was, that was a fun one. What ended up not making the episode when we did that was that part at the beginning where Jason and I did the fuck your grandma.
Yeah.
When we did that, there was a solid 5 minutes of take after take after take of us trying to get that right that I almost put as a blooper and ended up not making it. But
you should have put that. That would have been great.
I should have, but we had way too much fun with the quotes and trying to, I mean, Jason just wants to be Captain Spaulding, I think. So, you know, like it was, but that episode, it was a lot of fun and we had a lot of people rally around that one. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's great.
You know, going back to kind of how we all met, which was when we all interviewed Harley and Tyler. And I don't know how you guys got in touch with them, but I'm assuming we all had a similar story where we got, because I got an Instagram message from, I believe Harley was the one running the social media.
Yep. Me too.
Yeah.
And, you know, I didn't know what to expect going in. I was like actually really nervous about that because that was my first like blind guess that I did not know for the show.
Yeah.
And
well, I thought Harley was a guy because Harley is a unisex name. I was like, there's no way like a girl is messaging me privately on Instagram to talk about horror movies. Like, it's definitely a dude. And I said to my wife, I'm like, I'm going to do it, but it's probably a scam. Like,
you're being catfished.
Like, she turned to be like the loveliest human being, and Tyler too. Like, both of them, like, so like, absolute sweethearts. Like, for a couple of people who've been in Hollywood for over a decade, like, it would have been so easy for them to be like jaded and hate everything, but they're just like beautiful people. Like,
they haven't let like the success that they've been having like get to their head, or like because freaking Tyler and Harley, like Tyler's been killing it. He was in like TV episodes, and fucking Harley's doing like movies and shit.
She's on a different red carpet every weekend.
Yeah.
I'm blessed to even know you guys.
I was going to say, going back to that comment I made earlier about, so I never thought the Scream the Fan Favorite thing was like a scam or anything. I just was like, oh, I don't know these people. This will be a different dynamic. And I brought our regular guest host, Mr. J, on because that was while Jason was on a break. And I remember calling him. I'm like, dude, I'm super nervous, but I'm excited. I would love to do this. And it's still to this day one of my favorite episodes that the show has done. But it became something so much bigger in that, like, we're all friends with Harley and Tyler. But then it opened this world up to where I met you guys and we all became friends. And going back to that comment earlier where I said being a fan first more than anything, it's always kind of surreal with Harley and Tyler in that they are friends of ours. But like, I still feel like a bit of a fanboy when like talking to them. I'm like, guys, you're Harley and Tyler. Like, you know, who am I to you? And anytime so we had Tyler revisit the show, Michael, when us three talked about Scream 6 on my show.
Jealous.
I did wish James was there, but we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. And
I'll finally say Scream 6, guys. Like, it only took like 5 months to come out on physical media, but it's. And everyone knows how I feel about streaming, so this is the episode where I get bitter.
Yeah, well, I honestly don't know why it took so long for it to come out on like physical media.
Yeah.
Like I was like, why is it taking them so long to release this fucking movie? It came out in March. Like
Yeah.
what is taking, or not March? Wait, when did Scream?
It was March. It was March.
March. Okay.
Yeah, March
I was
10th
thinking,
is when
I
it
was
came to
mixing up
theaters.
Evil Dead Rise because I was like, did it come out in March or April? And I was like, no, Evil Dead Rise came out in April. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Evil Dead Rise will be out either like the same time as Scream or like just after. Like they're almost coming out at the same time. Like, come on, guys, get it
Yeah.
together.
Right.
I know how you feel about having them. I know how you feel about digital media, but I already have both of those on digital. So
Yeah, I know.
I've seen,
Like, I just if I'm going to pay money for something, I want to be able to hold it in my hand.
yeah.
That's not the clip this week out of context.
I now have Scream 6 and Evil Dead Rise both memorized. So
No,
that tells you how
go.
many times
See,
I've
I'm-
watched those movies.
it's
See, I'm behind. I don't own Scream 6 or Evil Dead Rise yet. I just bought Megan probably a month ago on physical media. So I need
nice.
to play some catch up.
I fucking love that movie.
Me too.
It was
man.
fun.
Megan,
I love that movie.
dude,
Yeah.
Megan might be my favorite thing to come out of the. Yes, Evil Dead Rise was great. Scream 6 was great. Megan was so new and like fresh to me. And I'm so glad that Megan is becoming like a horror icon in herself already.
Yeah.
That movie's so much fun and so clever. And Allison Williams, right, is her name that plays the
from
main,
Get Out and from Girls.
Yeah, from Get Out, and then Violet McGraw from Hill House and Doctor Sleep.
Yeah.
Like the movie's just great.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Good. I always forget that. I always forget that,
guys. We don't need to talk about podcasting.
Or we could get on our Doctor Sleep tangent again because
Yeah,
you know how much I love that movie. James, you've seen Doctor Sleep, right?
I've only seen it once, so I haven't watched the director's cut yet, but it is on my pile. So I've got a pile of Blu-rays next to my TV, and it's my watch list. So this year, every year I try to watch 200 movies. So I think I'm at 160 movies for the year so far. So I'm ahead of schedule, which is nice. And I always go between something I haven't seen and something I have seen before. So Doctor Sleep is due for a rewatch. I was doing the King films earlier this year. So I've done, what have I done? Like I did Stand By Me. I did Misery. I just rewatched the Carrie remake, which really holds up. Like people were really unfair to that film. It's a lot of fun.
Are you talking about the one with Chloe Moritz in it? Because I like that. I like that one. I had no issues with it.
She may be slightly miscast. She obviously doesn't have the kind of, like Carrie's meant to be a real outsider, and Sissy Spacek really brings that in the original. And Chloe Grace is adorable. Like, you know what I mean? Like so. But aside from that, I think the flick's really, really strong. But next up is Shining and Doctor Sleep, so I'm going to do them back to back. And it'll be my first time watching the Doctor Sleep director's cut. So
it's kind of insane because I have Doctor Sleep memorized to the point where like I know all of Rose the Hat's inflections. Like I fucking know that movie like the back of my hand, and I'm talking about the director's cut that's over 3 hours long. I know that movie like inside.
That's why
and
I haven't got to it yet, because it's over 3 hours long. I'm like, I'll get there.
Yeah, I actually still haven't seen the director's cut yet either, but I'll get there.
It's funny, Kevin, that your kind of experience was so positive, and we're talking about before the online community, like the Instagram podcasting community, like kind of debunks the idea that the internet's a hateful place to me, because I've never had a negative experience since starting this show. But I was talking to Michael about this when we first all started interviewing Tyler and Harley. I really only listened to your shows out of spite. I was like, well, no, my podcast has got to be the best one. And then I listened to you. I was talking about this on the first time I was on We Love Horror. And like after listening to both your shows, I'm like, man, they're good shows. All right, I'm going to do like the right thing and like shout out. Like I'm supporting Tyler and Harley, but I'll shout out these shows as well. And then like very quickly, although Michael knows I was very suspicious for a long time. He was so nice. I was like, is this like an internet predator trying to get me?
Oh no. Oh my gosh.
Like like how I thought Harley was a dude. Like I was just like, I don't trust anything on the internet.
Yeah, can we talk about that for like just a quick second? For everyone listening, if you've never interacted with Michael on social media, he is like the biggest sweetheart you will ever meet.
Absolutely.
And you might like shed a tear for how like kind and like friendly he is. Like
we're gonna create a We Love Horror spin-off called We Love Michael.
Because I started messaging with Mike. So like James, I talked to you last fall, right after your interview, or maybe it was after my interview came out with Harley and Tyler, because you left a comment on their post about it.
So my show came first. I just happened to interview them first, so I put mine out there, and then every time they appeared on a different show, I was like, well, I want to listen to it because I'm invested in these guys now. I'm invested in their story and their movie and stuff like that. But also, like, I'd been doing the show for maybe 6 months, maybe a little bit longer. So I was really interested to see how other podcasts handled the interview. Because for me, it was a learning experience. So, like, yeah, like I'm not gonna lie. Yes, there was a bit of jealousy, of course, because like I wanted to be special, but I was also like, I really want to listen to these shows and see what they're bringing. And what was interesting about both of you is that whilst I think our shows are all very similar, Michael does the same thing I do, where he hosts it on his own, whereas you had a co-host. I was interested to see how the co-host dynamic worked. But also, both of your shows are horror focused, where I'm a lot broader. So I was really interested to see how you guys handled it, and I was really impressed by both of them because mine, I didn't abandon my shtick at all. I'm like, oh, we'll talk about your movie, but we're going to talk about your top 5 favorite horror films as well. Michael was like, well, let's rank all the Scream films. And I remember I saw that. I'm like, this could go either really well or really poorly because they're going to talk about the same 5 films for 2 hours. But it worked really well. And then yours was just a straight up interview pretty much, Kev. So I was like, so I kind of came out of it really learning a lot, because after I listened to both your shows, I'm like, I think mine's the weakest interview. Like, I'm clearly like, showing my inexperience, and not a criticism. Like, I've been doing it for 6 months, and if you listen to that episode, my intro for Harley and Tyler is written down on my phone, and I am reading. Like, you can hear me. I'm not doing a natural interview. Like, if you listen to most of my shows, I come up with the introduction on the spot. I won't write anything down. I just kind of make it up, and that's why sometimes they're great and sometimes they're not. But I wanted to talk about fandom. I wanted to make it very specific. So I was reading, and you can hear me getting out of breath. You can hear me speaking faster. You can hear my nerves coming through. But I learned a lot from your shows. But I was like, man, like these. I was like, I definitely want to shout it out for Tyler and Harley. But I like these podcasts as well. So, this might be a good chance to build a bit of a relationship and do some crossovers as well. Like, I never thought it would happen, but maybe.
And that's what I was going to say is, like, I connected with you pretty quickly. Michael, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think you and I really got to, like, we connected and followed each other, but I don't think we really got to, like, talking until probably early 2023, right?
I know, and I feel so bad about that because, like, you and I have been friends for a while, and I'm like, I don't know. I've just had a lot of shit going on. I guess that's my excuse for everything right now. I'm just like, I just had a lot of stuff going on.
I was just thinking about it. I'm like, when did we start messaging, like, and actually getting to connect that way? And I don't think we started messaging until probably January, like after the holidays were over.
Yeah. Well, and I'll be completely honest with you. Like, my podcasting experience hasn't always been great for me. And I mean, I'm not going to call anybody out by name here, but like, there were a few like people that I was friends with in the podcasting community, and it was just kind of a toxic relationship between me and a couple of other people. And I mean, we're both at fault. I'm at fault because when I when I get into a really bad mental health state, like, I tend to like go back into my toxic traits. Like, we all have toxic traits, right? So there's times when like I will go back into those toxic traits, and that kind of turns people off, and that kind of makes people kind of turn against me, and then in turn I feel like I've been turned against, and like it's just like a toxic thing. But like, my points being is, I think the reason why I hadn't opened myself up to like talking to other podcasts is because I was so involved in like certain friendships that I had with other people that I'm no longer friends with because of stuff that went down. So after that, I was just kind of like, you know what? I'm going to focus on the people that actually care about me and actually will, treat me with the same amount of, like, I guess, energy and respect, because I felt like I wasn't getting that from some people, and I was just giving all my energy to some people that weren't giving it back, so I felt So I'm sorry, that was like a long excuse for, that's probably why we hadn't talked very much before.
Well, I know that I think in January I was like, I'm going to start playing matchmaker with these boys, because like I've been on both, I think I'd been on both your shows at that point. I was like, they need to get in a room as well. Like, they need to record. And I think I like suddenly was like, oh, well, I just went on Midnight Terrace, Michael. Like, you should definitely reach out to Kevin. And Kevin, I just went on, We Love Horror. You should definitely talk to Michael. So I don't know how instrumental, if at all, that was, but I was like hyping both of you guys up to each other, because I'm like, this has got to happen. Like,
That's okay, James. We are happy to give you the credit, my friend.
Yes,
I'll take the credit for everything. This is.
I also wanted to point out, you said something a little bit ago, how you had your intro like written down with everything you wanted to say. Like, I've been doing this podcast for 3 years now, and I still, every time I have like a different guest on, I still like, my intro is pretty much the same every episode, but like, I still write my intro down because I don't want to screw up the names. I don't want to screw up the podcast. So like, it's still nerve-wracking for me even 3 years into this, like every time I have like a new guest on, like when I had you and Kevin on for the first time, I was so fucking nervous. Like I was like, oh my gosh.
I was nervous.
nerve-wracking.
I was nervous too, and I think that's why I have this persona now. I've kind of built this persona when I guest on other people's shows where I just get very obnoxious. And not, I don't think it's like an abrasive obnoxious, but I just get very loud. I'm like, yeah, let's talk about this. Like on Michael's show, he does, I'm sure you know this as well, Kevin, but people who haven't listened to his show. By the way, like we'll definitely plug it before the show ends. Listen to both Midnight Terrors and We Love Horror. They're fantastic podcasts. And if you're not sure where to start with my episodes, because at least you know who I am. So like it's a good bridge. But at the start of We Love Horror, for a first-time guest, Michael does Desert Island. He's like, pick 5 movies, you take to Desert Island. And it's meant to be like a 5-10 minute segment. 40 minutes, I think, I spent on my Desert Island.
Perfectly fine. I think when I can't remember exactly what episode it was a pretty recent episode, but I had somebody on that kind of did the exact same thing you did.
I know, like you shouted me out and I felt I had a big smile. I was like, oh, shucks.
Yeah, they went into like kind of similar detail like you. And I was like, oh, I love this. Cause like, I love how like the question is kind of a basic question, but you can get so broad with the question to where you're like actually answering it in like more of a broad spectrum. And I love that. But yeah, Kevin, I still need to get you on my show.
Yes.
I'm so sorry I haven't had you on my show. I'm like,
It's
my gosh. And it just happens to be like right before I like go on my hiatus too.
That's gonna be the first episode back, the triumphant return. You have to bring Kevin on. And Jason too. Jason's great entertainment. Like it's funny.
I haven't actually even met Jason yet.
Yeah, he was no, he wasn't on a break at the time, but he hadn't seen Scream 6 yet when we did that episode. So that was why he wasn't on there. And I wanted to get that released while Scream 6 was still in theaters. Strike while the iron's hot, as they say.
Yeah.
What I like about Jason is because you say he's the I kind of think like
I would word it as he's the fun element.
Yeah, like he's kind of the comic relief and stuff in a way. But like it's funny because he's a little bit older. Like so, I think when I came on your show, I was saying like I kind of sit between you. Like Kev, you're a bit younger than me, and Jason's a bit older than me. But I also have like I'm a bit of an older man as well, so I still have like those hang-ups on like certain things. So I get like annoyed when things get remade, or if people don't appreciate older films, and he has that as well. So he also brings like I can only describe it as like a fun negativity to the show. Yeah. And I really like that.
He is our film critic on the show. Like me and James vibe a lot because I'm like, and I've had several guests that are like this. I'm like an eternal optimist on the show where I always find something that I gravitate towards, even if I'm not crazy. And we haven't really touched on a movie that I just outright hated. I understand one of my more controversial reviews was when me and Jason talked about Halloween Ends, and I know a lot of people hate it.
I haven't listened to that episode yet, but I'm team Halloween Ends. I love that movie.
I liked it. I liked it. I love Halloween Ends. I liked it. I had some criticisms with it, as I do with all 3 of those movies, because I feel like they could have all been done much better than they were. But I did like Halloween Ends. I didn't walk out like being like that was a fucking disaster of a movie. Like I actually kind of like the route they took. I just wish. The only thing that I wish they would have done differently is that they would have introduced Corey in the other 2 movies. Like my thing was why didn't they switch Cameron out with Corey, and Corey could have been dating Allison this whole time? And then what happens at the beginning of Halloween Ends, it would make more of an impact for us as audience members because we've been following Corey the last 2 movies. And then also it would make more sense that Allison would want to go against Laurie. Like when she's like doing her teenage bullshit where she's like, you want to take everyone away from me. Wham, wham, wham. Like, I just felt like it was so like unrealistic that they've known each other for 3 days and she's already like running away with this guy. Granted, I get that it's probably like more of a trauma bonding thing. So it's like, I understand that people can probably bond quicker through trauma, but 3 days, you're already like fucking wanting to run away with this guy. Also, I can't really talk too much about that because Titanic kind of has a similar thing where they're
Halloween Ends is the Titanic of the Halloween franchise. That boat's gonna sink at the end.
Well, listen, I'm a Disney fan. How many of those couples get together after minutes of meeting each other?
That's fair. Yeah. I mean, though, if I was Ariel and I had met someone who looked like Prince Eric, instant. I'd been like, marry me right now.
Are we talking live action or remake?
I haven't seen live action yet.
I'm talking about the animated one.
Oh,
I've always thought animated Prince Eric was so hot.
James, cut that. I said live action or remake. They're the same thing.
Yeah,
I was saying
he's not going to cut it.
Yeah, like you're asking me to do work, and we'll talk about making podcasts soon, I'm sure. But that sounds like an effort. Just leave it in there.
I was saying animation or the live action one, Eric.
Oh, definitely the animation one for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Here's a breaking character. I'm always very positive. I do not really care for the Disney remakes at all. Like,
that's fair.
I think the only one I've enjoyed, and this is controversial, this is divisive because I know people hated it. I loved the Mulan live action remake because it wasn't a shot for shot remake of the animated one. Like, people were like, there's no Mushu, there's no songs. I was like, good. I saw that 20 years ago. Like, give me something different.
Yeah. I think my issue with the Mulan one was that it felt like too whitewashed. Like, it felt like too many, like, it didn't feel like close to, I don't know. It just felt like a bunch of like white people directed this movie instead of like,
that's true.
You know what I mean? Like, it just felt very like Americanized, which I'm like, should not be Americanized. It should be like close to like the traditions of like Asian culture. It just kind of felt whitewashed to me.
They should have waited. If they had just waited till Everything Everywhere All at Once came out, then they would have
That movie's so good.
That was after Crazy Rich Asians, right?
Yeah, Crazy Rich Asians was pre-pandemic.
Crazy Rich Asians is one of the best movies I've ever seen. So
makes me cry. Like, that ending is so.
That's been on my watch list for a while. So I saw the trailer for Crazy Rich Asians and I was so like captivated by it. And for some reason, I don't think it was in theaters for very long. And so I missed it. And then everybody, when they saw it, like either in home viewing or in the theater, they were like, this movie's fantastic. And I'm like, I need to see this. And I keep forgetting to watch it. And I want to check that out for sure. My problem with the Mulan remake was that
okay, I see what's happening. I see what's happening. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I felt like it needed more of a budget.
It did feel like they didn't have faith in it. They're like, this is one of the like the indie princesses because like she's not a top tier in the crown.
I felt like they kind of like Disney kind of damned it with just the look of the film, and it just felt very cheap to me.
Yeah. Cheap and whitewashed for sure.
I wonder whether that was. I wonder whether decisions were made because that was released on. That was one of the first Disney Plus releases where they were kind of like, we're just going to.
Yeah, that was like early September 2020 when film was just dead at the time.
And I wonder whether they were just like, look, we're not putting in theaters. Let's just stop spending money now. Like, let's just kind of cut our losses. Yeah, they didn't play the Black Widow game. We're like, Black Widow, we're gonna get in theaters. We're gonna get got like 400 release dates until they finally like, all right, I guess we're doing Disney Plus. Like Mulan, they headed to Disney Plus pretty quickly. Like, you know what? That's fine.
Yeah. Or Top Gun Maverick, they pushed it back like 30 times.
That was a flick I did not expect to enjoy at all. I've talked about it a lot on this podcast. Man. I was like, I couldn't believe how much I enjoyed it.
I think I've told both of you guys this. I've never seen any of the Top Gun movies because I
hadn't either until.
I can't stand Tom Cruise, so I don't think I've really seen any of his movies. I don't think I've ever seen a Mission Impossible movie. I don't think I've ever seen Top Gun. I just don't like him. He gives me the ick, and I've never liked him, so I've never watched his movies. I was
very much the same, Michael. I've seen a handful of Tom Cruise films. The Collateral from like 2005 is really good. Or 2005 I think it was, and Edge of Tomorrow is really good. That's a really fun one as well. But like, I kind of avoided Tom Cruise movies as well. I just never really got the appeal. And then everyone I knew was talking about Top Gun Maverick. The point was like, look, if everyone is saying it's good, like someone's got to be right. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they can't all be wrong. Yeah. I guess I'll check it out. And I picked up the double pack. And the first Top Gun is fine. Top Gun fans need to relax. Like, it's fine for an 80s film, but it's not like it didn't redefine cinema. But that sequel, I was shocked how much I enjoyed. Like, Miles Teller's great. Like, I know that off camera people have issues with Miles Teller, but I think as a performer,
I love Miles Teller.
I think Whiplash.
Whiplash is such a great film.
The Whiplash, the only horror film ever made to not be advertised as a horror film. It's so very much a horror film.
Well, I mean, you've got J.K. Simmons there, man, and that man is a legend. And I was not earlier on, but in 2022, when Top Gun Maverick came out, I was like happy to see that there was a film that like everybody was like at the theater for.
Yeah.
But then I got frustrated later on in the year because it was the highest grossing movie. I'm like, well, they're kind of cheating because it's the highest grossing movie because it's been in theaters for like 5 months.
That's how I
And,
felt about
yeah.
Avatar in 2009. I'm like, oh yeah, well if you're in cinemas for 14 months straight, of course you're gonna make
Yeah.
more money.
So
like,
I was
and
kind
if
of
you're gonna
happy.
re-release it every 2 years, of course you're gonna make more money.
Yeah.
That's how
I was
that's how
kinda-
Titanic was too, wasn't it? In
Yeah.
theaters for like almost a full fucking year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
but
it came
Titanic
out.
is a brilliant flick. Like, it's really good.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I was
Don't
kind of
get me
happy though
started.
when Avatar 2 came out and dethroned Top Gun in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, you're like, yes.
I was like, all right.
Oh man. What is it? What is it innately in us that we just like to see things top other things because it's just like a, it's like a thing in our mind. Yeah, fuck that movie.
No, do you
I'm
know what it
waiting for-
is? It's because, and I'm saying this without actually not even asking you guys. For me, it's because I don't like sports. I don't
Yeah,
like sports,
I
so I
don't
need
either.
something to root for. So I'll root for the box office. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
my team this week. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, so we're just waiting for something to dethrone the Super Mario Brothers movie, which is a great movie.
so
I
good.
want to put it
Yeah.
out there.
Really
And
fun.
Top Gun and Avatar are good movies too. They're, again, Eternal Optimist. They're good movies. But I was like, really? The Super Mario Brothers movie is the highest grossing movie of 2023 so far?
I'm happy for that because that
Yeah.
franchise, like, obviously from a video game point of view, it's always thrived. But like, they made a movie in 1993, which I personally love. I saw it as a kid, so I've got a huge nostalgia bug for it. And I even watched it recently. Like, you know what? This is a fun movie. Like, they had no idea what they were doing, but it's fun. But like that, they were like, no, we'll never make another Nintendo film. It took 30 years to come back to a Nintendo film, so it had to be good. And like, I adore that new one. I think it's really good.
Yeah, it was really fun. Jack Black as Bowser. It's great.
Anya Taylor-Joy is Peach. Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
like, we can just talk about Anya Taylor-Joy for an hour if you like, guys. She's
Seriously,
brilliant.
I
love Anya
love her so
Taylor-Joy, dude.
much. I love her so much. Like, I have like a top 5 of horror actresses right now, and like it's Anya Taylor-Joy, Mia Goth, Florence Pugh.
Yes.
Yep.
Obviously, Sarah Michelle Gellar will always be in my, top 5. And then, let's see, that's a tough one. Probably Mary Elizabeth Winstead. She'll always be in my top 2.
Yes.
Those are
dude.
my 2 irreplaceables. I'm never replacing them.
I love
But-
that you brought up Mary Elizabeth Winstead in your Final Girls movie, but you didn't talk about Final Destination 3. I was like, she's so good. Like,
Because
good in
she's
that
not technically a final girl. She dies at the end of that movie,
That's
which
true.
fucking sucks. I hate
Well,
it.
unless you go by Cabin in the Woods rules, which is they have to be the last one standing, but they can still die. So you have the exception there. But
Yeah.
um,
My most recently, if anyone has everyone seen Terrifier 2 yet?
yes,
Yeah.
Michael and I talked about it a lot on his show because he didn't like it, and I was like, we should talk about this movie.
Yeah,
Oh, you didn't like it?
It's not that I didn't like it. I just didn't.
I'm putting words in
quite
your mouth today, guys. I'm
I
off
just
the chain.
well, no, I mean, I didn't like care for it that much. Like, so I guess you could say I didn't really like it. I just didn't understand the hype. I didn't understand the hype around it. I'm happy for the success of it though. Like, I am happy for like that has made as much money as it has and that it was like such a success. Because like I want that for any director. Like I want that for any up and coming director that's like, making stuff on low budgets and stuff. That's like a dream. That would be like my dream to like make a film and like have everybody, rally around it and it makes a shit ton of money. That would be great. So I'm happy for the success. It just wasn't for me. And I also thought it was like talking about movies that are too fucking long. That movie was too fucking long. I'm so that movie was about an hour and a half too fucking long.
My
And I'm just like,
opinion has changed. I really do like Terrifier 2. I rewatched it recently and I do like it. But the first time I was talking to you about it, Michael, I'm like, you know what? The runtime didn't bother me. Like, I thought that they took time to build characters and stuff. On my second watch, I'm like, you know what? We can cut 40 minutes out of this. Like,
That was my.
But even
Go
then,
ahead.
I don't feel like it took the time to build the characters because I didn't like. I know a lot of people love Sienna as a final girl, but I was just like,
Oh, dude, that's why I brought it up. I love Lauren Lavera, dude.
she's great.
She's great. But I'm just like, is she the best final girl? No. Like, I don't know why people are propping her up
like,
on this
no,
like
that's okay.
pedestal.
No, I would not say that she's the best final girl. I don't know who I would give that title to, honestly.
Ripley, but only for the first Alien film.
Maybe
That is up there.
that's fair.
But,
She's my go-to answer, but I don't even know if I believe it. Like, I just
yeah,
say
I was gonna say probably Sydney from Scream.
Yeah, Sydney's had a pretty good run.
But yeah, Lauren Lavera is one of like my favorite new female characters in or Sienna is her character name. Lauren's her real name. but she's one of my favorite new ones. And I always go, I don't know if she would be considered like a final girl, but she's always in horror stuff. I am a diehard Vera Farmiga fan.
Oh, me too. Oh my God, she's
Yes.
so fucking good, and like she has one of the best like horror screams ever.
Yes.
Like her scream is literally like gut wrenching every time you hear it. Like she screams a lot in Orphan, but like in the Conjuring movies, oh my gosh, I'm like, holy shit.
Also,
Orphan,
her sister, Tisa Farmiga, who is like
I
30
love her
years
too.
younger.
Me too.
So good. One film that I always try to bring attention to and never gets enough love is Final Girls, actually. And
so good. I love it.
like that was a movie that I introduced to my wife because a couple of years ago I was like, it's October. Can we please watch some horror films? She's not a big horror fan. And I was like, I'll curate it for you. I'll pick a bunch of movies that I know you'll be able to dig, or at least you won't be too scared of, and then you can pick. And she picked Final Girls, and like, it's a beautiful movie. Like, not only is it fun and like satirical, but that ending like is so like touching and heartbreaking.
I cry every time I watch that movie.
Yes, absolutely.
So I gotta ask, because this movie brought us just final characters all around, male and female. Have either of you seen The Blackening yet?
No. Is it good?
It is great. Okay. It is so clever, so smart, so heartfelt. It's, again, it's plenty of representation. It's all African American cast. I loved it. And it's given us such great characters that I hope go on to do more in the world of horror. So everyone listening, I'm going to step on a pedestal for a second. Go see The Blackening. It is a great movie.
There was a poster I saw, because I don't think it's been released in Australia yet. We always get things late normally, because we're so far away. Even in the modern world of technology. But there was a poster for The Blackening.
The Nickelback
I thought it was
song, "He's So Far Away."
Yeah.
Sorry?
I said like the Nickelback song, "So Far Away."
Oh, I thought you were going to drop some Avenged Sevenfold on me, because
that is one song from Nickelback that I actually like.
Right? So. It's good.
Nickelback is
I'm a Nickelback defender. I don't keep up with them anymore, but like everything up until probably 2011 Nickelback, I love.
I'll throw in "Never Again," title track from Silver Side Up. Great song.
I don't like Nickelback.
Michael's face was perfect.
I'm just like, oh no.
I really like "Never Again." I think it's the first song on Silver Side Up. That's a really good track by Nickelback. Yeah. But I haven't seen The Blackening yet, but I saw a poster. I thought it was so genius, and I can't remember. I'm gonna misquote it, so like bear with me, audience. But it's something along the lines of, "They can't all die first," and I was like, "That's genius."
I love that. Yeah,
it's such a clever movie, and I hope that it's actually, if I remember correctly, it's directed by Tim Story of all people.
Oh, Fantastic Four's Tim Story.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was like, wow, you've jumped from the superhero world to making this genius movie in the horror world. I love it.
I love it when directors can do that and like do it really well. Because there's some directors who shall not be named who Halloween that think they can granted he didn't do that bad of a job. I might be dogpiling on him too much, but I'm just like, you get these directors that think they can just come into this like director seat when it comes to horror movies and be like, yeah, I can make a horror movie, and then it's like, can you though?
Well, that's the thing about the genre. Everyone thinks they can make a horror film because you just need buckets of blood and maybe get someone to take their shirt off every 30 minutes and done.
Well, I was gonna say, I think I'm sure you've touched on this too, James, and I know Michael and I have, that we were talking off air, I believe, about Hereditary and Midsummer and the performances in there. Really, not a single Academy nomination at the very least. And even going back farther with the Babadook, with that actress's performance, it's like horror is still looked down on as like the lesser genre. And it's like, dude, you're throwing out some great stuff in this genre.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, obviously, thankfully Get Out got some recognition, but not enough recognition. Yes. And I would also throw, and I know I'm steering away from your areas of expertise and something that I like to do, but even like superhero films, like, I'm not saying every superhero film needs to get nominated, surely not, but like Logan, you're telling me Logan doesn't get any like recognition for performances or directing?
Right.
But definitely horror. Like Hereditary, when it came out, I was like, well, Toni Collette's going to win Best Actress. Like that's the best performance I've seen all year, and not even a nod, which is disappointing. Yeah, the horror genre is often underappreciated, which is a shame. Which was really great when Jamie Lee Curtis won the Oscar this year. She kind of called out genre. Speaking of, I talked before about me crying in movies. Like I just watched like all those acceptance speeches, and was just like bawling my eyes out. Like Ke Huy Quan wins, Brendan Fraser wins. I was like, this is so beautiful.
This is beautiful. Yeah.
This is what the Oscars are meant to be about. Because I know that you did your anti-Oscar episode, didn't you, Michael?
I did the horror not Oscars, yeah. Because I was like, I was throwing a little bit of shade there. I don't care. Yeah, I'll throw shade because it's like you guys should be recognizing more horror films. Like, what was the last Oscar win we got for a horror movie? Was that like? Well, I guess. You count Parasite as a horror film because I feel like some people do. So maybe Parasite was the last movie that won like
I don't
anything.
think it's a horror. I think it's a horror.
But you want to talk about like tears? I was in tears watching him win all those freaking awards. I was like, well, fucking deserved because Parasite is one of the best movies I've ever seen in my entire life. It's like, well,
didn't they change the category after that? Because it used to be best international feature, but did they just get rid of that? Now all features can be considered. Have I missed something? I thought they kind of did away with best international feature and just made it any film made wherever should be considered for best picture. That's what I heard, but I could be wrong. But he's great.
Yeah.
And he did Snowpiercer, which is a great film as well. So
he also did Host, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bong Joon-ho.
Not the webcam host, but like the monster movie host.
Not the webcam one, and not the Twilight spin-off host either. With the glowing eyes.
You took off both the two that I was thinking of. I'm like, it's either the young adult one or it's the webcam.
No, I think it's from like 2014. It's almost 10 years old. It's kind of like it's like a sea monster movie. Like there's something
Cloverfield in a way.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's a little bit kaiju. It's a little bit it's great.
Beautiful.
Or maybe that's called The Host. Is it called The Host?
You know what's on my wall right now? Let me have a look. It is called The Host. Here we go.
Okay, so you would reckon
it's pretty iconic. I don't have the actual poster. This is the British version, but that's it there, Michael. Yeah.
I don't know that I've ever seen this one.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Pretty good, but it's made by the same guy that made
about Jurassic Park on the cover there.
What was that? Sorry.
Oh,
I saw something written about Jurassic Park on the cover there, though.
Oh yeah, they said it's like Jaws meets Jurassic Park, which I actually don't like. It's a great tagline for someone who wrote a review, but that's not accurate at all.
Sorry,
Michael, I was gonna ask where Valak went because I was getting creeped out that it had just disappeared.
This is a completely off conversation, but look at her legs, girl. Got some legs under this dress.
She's the sexy nun now.
For those of you who can't see, I have a Valak. I just very recently got a Valak Living Dead doll to kind of pretty much round out my collection because she was the only one I was really looking for. Because like she's hard. This one is hard to fucking find. I found her in an FYE store, which I love FYE, by the way.
Same.
I think that's what it is.
We don't have
is
those
it FYE?
in Australia, so you'll have to explain what it is.
Yeah, it's FYE.
It's like a
record store type thing.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. So, but you got like all these different things. You got like Funko Pop stuff. You got like vinyls. You've got movies. You've got like this stuff. Yeah.
Nice.
They've got like their own little section dedicated to horror, which I love.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
That's awesome.
You can buy like you can buy shirts
we used to
and
have
stuff.
those here in where I live, but they got rid of it and they put it in an H&M clothing store.
I like H&M, but
yeah, no, they have good stuff too. But
it sounded like a diss, and then Michael's like, and Kev's like, oh yeah, no, they're good.
No, I like them, but should they have replaced the FYE store? I don't think so. Maybe replace something else. I don't know.
Take something else out of the mall, not the only like record store that we had at the time.
Exactly.
Don't get me started on disappearing stores. Like as I've said many times, I'm an old man. I still buy physical media. Like it's so hard to.
Well, I always get a little down on the mall because I grew up going to Hot Topic, and Hot Topic for me just isn't what it used to be. It's still got good stuff in there, but I'm like, man, the people don't understand the heyday of the Hot Topic era was like it.
I went to Hot Topic when I was in the States. I got some cool t-shirts.
Mm-hmm.
And, so that was a good time. I got a cool. I got a really cool Daredevil t-shirt. Actually, it was awesome. And I think it was and they're so cheap as well. Like t-shirts are so if you're paying more than $10 for a t-shirt, you're getting ripped off. And like t-shirts are so, I mean, but that being said, go to tpublic.com and buy an I Was a Teenage Film Snob t-shirt right now. 20% off.
Yeah, same with We Love Horror.
Yeah, there's some great We Love Horror ones there. There's no Midnight Terrors ones, but they're coming.
We're working on it. We may end up going through the Teespring route as well. But we're doing our first convention appearance, so I'm trying to get like a small run made for friends and then have some left over for people to browse.
That's
well,
exciting.
You told me one of my favorite stories about your podcast last week, Kevin, is that your mum designed your logo.
She did, yeah.
Like that's
so
awesome.
Cool.
Like
yeah.
Your podcast is 100% a family business. Like you go.
Yeah. Yeah, no, my mom's been on the show. She covered for Jason for a little while when he was on a break. My brother's been on it. And then just endless amounts of friends at this point that honestly, with the friends that have been on the show, I consider them family at this point. So like, I mean, I have a tattoo on my arm that says blood doesn't make family. And that's for close friends of mine in that, like, if I care about you and like we are regular friends, like you're a part of my family just as much as my actual family is.
Yeah.
So lots of love going around. I got that from James.
I'm going to propose the idea that the three of us get a matching tattoo.
Yes, dude.
And it's going to say pod is thicker than water.
Yeah.
James, put that on a shirt right now. I will buy it immediately.
I just want to point out that I laughed at my own joke, and I was also the first one to laugh at it and the loudest one. So,
listen, that's what goes into being a podcast, right? Is you have to be entertained by what you're saying before everybody else hears it.
Oh, so here's a disgusting story. I don't think I've ever shared it on the podcast before, but this is kind of a free for all. I listened to a few months back, it might have been last year, I was driving to a doctor's appointment and I was caught up to date on all of my shows. I was like, you know what? I'm going to listen to one of my episodes. I had to turn off 5 minutes in because I couldn't stop laughing at my own jokes. And I was laughing at the same pitch and cadence as pre-recorded James. I was like, that's disgusting. Like, you idiot.
That's something interesting to dive into with doing a podcast is that when you guys listen back to your show, do you ever you don't listen to your stuff, James?
No. So as I said, I don't edit it. I will very rarely listen to the show once it's done. Sometimes I will.
Oh, wow.
I'll jump through it to find clips. So I kind of listen to bits and pieces, but for the longest time, and I don't think this is unique, I think most people feel this way, I didn't really like the sound of my own voice. So I was like,
sure.
Or like, if it's either I don't like the sound of my own voice or I hate a missed opportunity. I'm like, oh, why didn't you say this? You could have been funnier here. That was a bad joke. So I get very self-critical. So every now and then I will, so for example, my Midsummer episode, every episode title is a pun. I've listened to that one quite a bit or jumped to certain clips because that episode is just ridiculous to me. Like we go on so many tangents, it makes me laugh. But generally, I don't listen to the show. Yeah,
that's interesting. I don't.
It's unprofessional because I'm probably like if I listen to the show, I might be able to make it a better show.
No, your show's already great.
It is. But that's interesting. I don't listen to our show on the regular. Sometimes I put out an episode and I'll listen to it, and sometimes I won't. I was trying to say regular, by the way. I don't know what happened. My brain just stopped for a second there.
We all woke up right before the recording, so it's all
yes, we did.
But I go back and I listen sometimes, and for the most part, I'm pretty comfortable with what has been on the show. Every now and again, I'll be like, you could have worded that better. Why didn't you say this? Our very first episode infamously kicks off with a voice crack from me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
30 years old and still in the puberty stage.
That's okay. Happens to all of us.
Well, that's okay. The first episode I ever recorded, which is actually episode 3, I interviewed my dad, and I deliberately made that the third episode because he doesn't podcast, and I guess no one in my circle had really podcasted before except for Nick and Tina. Like if you hear Nick and Tina on the show, they sound a bit more well versed because we had a show for 3 years that we did together, so they a little bit more. So they got a little bit more practice. But I was like, I don't want the debut episode to be him because he also goes on tangents, and I love that about this show. The beauty of my show, what I've always tried to do, is make it like a talk show. It's like, yes, there's there's structure to, yes, I want to cover things, but it's a talk show, so I just want people to be able to talk about whatever they want. But he also gets quite political, so I was like, well, that won't be the first show. But the reason I bring it up is I end that episode, I sign it off, and I say the wrong title of the podcast. I don't call it I Was a Teenage Film Snob.
Yeah.
So like we all do dumb stuff. And as someone who doesn't edit, I was like, it's fine.
Can we keep that in there?
Can we touch on that for a second? So you said you had a show previous to I Was a Teenage Film Snob.
So I've podcasted on and off for the last 14 years.
He's kind of an expert, guys.
I'm certainly not.
Shame.
Like, it's honestly,
you guys are throwing it at me, being like, "Oh, Kevin and his accomplishments. Look at this guy over here." Nearly.
Oh, but like, first of all, you guys are very lovely, but I should be a lot better at this. Like, so I did a show back when I was 21. A buddy of mine, we did a podcast. It was just a chat show. We just kind of talked to each other, tried to make each other laugh, and that, I think we got 10 episodes. Oh no. I don't know how many episodes we got. I think we got maybe 60 episodes out of it, which is pretty good.
Wow.
And then we didn't do anything for a while. Like, we recorded 3 episodes, and then like he quit the job we were working at. We didn't talk to each other for like 3 years. So there's a hiatus right after episode 3. It wasn't like a dissolution of a friendship. We just, you know what happens when you leave a job. Like, things happen.
Yeah.
And then we brought it back up, and I think we put out like another 50 episodes, which was quite good. And then in 2016, I wanted it to be more focused on TV and movies, so that show was kind of winding down. And my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, and my friend Nick, we all loved The Office. We're like, let's do an Office podcast. Let's sit down and talk about The Office each week. We'll call it That's What She Said. And
I love that. That's so cool.
We got 10 episodes in, and what we found out that was like, we ended up talking more and more about other things. We're like, before we talk about The Office this week, who watched Game of Thrones? Like, and we started talking about news and pop culture. And I said to him, look, I love this, but maybe we should make a more broader podcast.
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah, and they agreed. So great. So in 2016, we started Pass the Remote, a title we didn't even come up with until the day we recorded. We're like, what do we call this show? And we were like trying to figure it out. I'm like, Pass the Remote? And they're like, done. So we did that for about 3 years, again, about 60 episodes. You can see a theme. Like, I kind of drop off after 60. That's why I'm very nervous, because I Was a Teenage Film Snob at episode 54. It's about to get cancelled. That's why we're doing the apocalypse.
Michael and I are going to let you.
Yeah, we're not going to let you cancel it. You can go on a hiatus. That's fine.
No, I love this.
Yeah, you can take a break, but you're not allowed to disappear.
Yeah, everything built to this. I love this show so much. So Pass the Remote is still available. Cool. I never took it down, so you can still find it. And my episode 13 of the show was a flashback where I just threw up an old episode of Pass the Remote to kind of show the origins, because I didn't get to record an episode. But it was just the three of us, and we talk about trailers and news, and we do top 5 lists. So like, that's where it all started for me. It was like, oh, let's just talk about our top 5 favorite films. Let's talk about top 5 least favorite films, that sort of thing. And then kind of right before the pandemic, pardon me, I'm so sorry. My buddy Nick moved kind of into the city and stuff like that. It was hard for us to get together. So sometimes it was just Tina and I would do shows. And then we kind of came up with like, we wanted to make the show fresh. So we were like, why don't we pitch alternate versions of movies? So we did stuff like that. And then in the pandemic, it died. We're just like, we can't do this. Yeah. And then like in 2021, towards the end of 2021, I was saying to Tina, I'm like, I'd really like to do a podcast again. And she's like, oh yeah, we can if you want. And I was like, no, like,
not you.
Well, no, but like, I
not with you.
Ostensibly, but
that's
I was
what
like,
it sounded like. That's what you were going to say. Though.
Oh no,
like,
that's exactly.
Oh, we could do one again. You're like, oh no.
She's like, no, we should do a podcast.
No, that's exactly where it's going. There, I said, no, I want you on the show. But one thing that really disappointed me with Pass the Remote is because there were 3 hosts, scheduling was a nightmare. Yeah. And like, we had to either make the decision to have all of us on, or some of us on, or just me on, and I didn't like that. I'm very behind the scenes. I'm very impatient. Like, I just want to hit the ground running. Like you guys will see behind me, I have a whiteboard. I know every topic I'm doing for the next 2 years.
Wow.
I have a list of guests, like who needs to appear on what, who's like due for a show and stuff. I schedule everything in advance. So I take it very, very seriously. And I was like, I don't want to put that pressure on her, because we also had a newborn. I didn't want to put that pressure on Nick. So I was like, what I'm going to do, this is what I'm thinking. I'm going to come up with a show that I am the regular host, and I'll just have a rotating roster of co-hosts. Because if I have 4 or 5 people who want to do the show, because I didn't think it would become what it's become. And like it's not like taking the world by storm, but I've got a lot more people involved than I ever thought I would. So if I can have 3, 4, 5 rotating co-hosts, it takes the pressure off them. They can just do the show once a month, and that way I can still do what I want to do as well. And that was kind of the approach for the show for me. That's what it became. I was like, I'll just run it, and then everyone will be a regular co-host. But really, it's become, well, I'm the co-host, and I just have a guest host each week almost. Like they come on and just talk about themselves and their movies and stuff. And every now and then I throw myself into the conversation because I want to talk about movies. So sometimes I'll share a list with people. But that's kind of the evolution of the show. Like it started in 2009, but this is, I think, what it was meant to be all that time. It just took a while to kind of find my feet and stuff. But yeah, so to answer your question with a very long answer, Kevin, yeah, I did shows before.
I was going to throw that to Michael then. Michael, was We Love Horror your first one or no?
We Love Horror is my first one. I actually have plans for a future one, which actually, I know I said I was taking a hiatus from podcasting, but I think it's might be just from this podcast because I'm just like, because I'm starting one with my sister. I already told James this.
Yeah, I've heard about this a few times, and I was like, "Yes, please," because I told Kevin this off mic, I think on Midnight Terrors, but I had a very awkward conversation with Michael where I was like, "This is going to sound weird out of context, but just so you know, I'm obsessed with your sister," because I heard her on the Loved Ones one, and I was like, it was really lovely. It was a really lovely bookend because after my friend Samantha came on the show, Michael was like, "Who is this girl? She's great." And then like after hearing her stuff, I'm like, "Who is this girl? She's great." So it was a really lovely parallel.
I have another episode that I've done with her with The Boy, which I think you listened to as well.
I haven't listened to The Boy yet because I haven't seen The Boy, but the Loved Ones. And she she does impressions, she does voices, like your banter, like you're very clearly related, you know.
She's like me, and she's me in female form. Like we're pretty much this.
Yeah,
we're the same person. Like we've been. Speaking of which, like I have a very exciting announcement to make, you guys. I'm surprised I didn't bring this up sooner.
I know. It's like, when's he gonna? Is he just gonna drop it in? I'm like, but this actually is the most organic place to bring it.
But this week next week I'm seeing Taylor Swift in concert, and we're getting like pretty much fucking front row tickets. Like we're like, I think like 3 or 4 rows back, so we're gonna be like right up on the stage. Like I'm so freaking excited. But bringing that up, me and my sister have called each other every day for the last like 5 days since she told me. We're like, we're seeing Taylor Swift. Like we're like we answer the phone and we're like, we're seeing Taylor Swift, and she's like, yes. But yeah, my sister are like literally the same person, and it's funny because we're 8 years apart. So you'd think that me and my sister would be like at odds with each other, you know, siblings, you know, with that age gap would be, you know, I don't know, but me and my sister are like the same person. We grew up together, obviously, and like we've been best friends for years. So it's just like for us, everything like James was saying, like when I'm on an episode with my sister, it's a whole different like vibe. Like it's just like, just prepare for us to be completely fucking ridiculous and silly.
She was doing this character. And that's what I loved. Like that's, and I think I don't know if we talked about this on today's episode or before we recorded, because we have been talking for over 2 hours now already. Like we haven't even really talked about the topic we're going to talk about. We've just been talking, which is fine. But she did this impression, and it sounded, I don't know whether she's like doing like a Jersey accent, but she's like, well, you know, and I was like, this character is amazing.
Well, you know, yeah, we do that to each other a lot. We're like we'll answer the phone sometimes, and I'll be like, hello, and she'll be like, hello, and I'll be like, who is this? And she's like, is this Marjorie? And I'm like, this isn't Marjorie. She got a new number. And my sister will be like, oh, well, this is Grace. And I'm like, oh, Grace, yes, this is Marjorie. You know, I'm getting so old, I can't remember my name. We literally like go through these bits that last like 2 minutes long. And if there's anyone else in the room when I'm talking to my sister, they're like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, that's how me and my sister are.
That was hands down my favorite episode of your show. Like, you guys, when you told me you guys were doing a show, I'm like, well, that makes sense. Like, because she, like, podcasting was made for her. Like, obviously, it was made for you. You've got the gift of the gab, and you've got the personality for the show. But then, like, her as well. It's like, that'll probably be my favorite podcast ever. Like, just you two talking every week because it's so entertaining, and you guys bounce off each other so well. And I really liked, even though her opinions on films are not mine, which is like I can only watch them after they're made after 2000. I can only watch them if they don't have subtitles and stuff like that. I disagree with that, but she was going into, like, she was talking about films. I'm like, yes, that's a great film. Like, people don't talk about it enough. She likes the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. That's good. That's underrated. People aren't talking about that film enough. So I love that. So I'm so excited you guys are doing a show.
Just did a whole episode about that just came out on July 2nd. The Nightmare on Elm Street remake.
Listen, I think the first like 20 minutes of that movie are pretty solid. Like everything with Katie Cassidy is great. Like Katie Cassidy is a great actress. I think she needs to be used more. Like, I mean, granted, she's been in quite a few iconic like films and stuff, but like she hasn't done I haven't seen a lot of horror stuff from her. And I'm like, she's fucking great. She needs me more stuff. Yeah. But like,
well, she had like a 10-year stint in the CW, didn't she? She was kind of busy.
Yeah. But like once she gets killed off, the movie kind of just goes to shit. And like it's not even so much like, it's just the casting. I think Rooney Mara is a great actress, but she's not Nancy. Like she should not have ever been casted as Nancy. I'm sorry. It's like the casting is really bad. Like it's just
look,
so
for
bad.
me that flick is Jackie L. Haley. Like he's what makes that film like such a dark and like creepy take on Freddy Krueger for a character who's already pretty dark and creepy. Like
I just see. And like, I don't know. I think the whole like child, thing kind of puts a bad taste in my mouth because I think they could have done something. Because it's always been implied that Freddy Krueger was a child predator, obviously, but like they never explicitly said it. So in the remake, it was kind of like, oof, you went.
I've heard that criticism before. A friend of mine, she was like, once they say that, the film is no longer fun. And I was like, wait, so the idea of it just maybe happening makes it fun? Like, that's a weird argument for me. Like,
I think for me,
I mean, it's for me. So like our episode will have just probably come out by the time this one comes out. Yeah. What I said on our show is that, yes, it becomes not a fun Freddy movie like you would expect from the originals once they introduce the child predator element to it, because that's awful. That's completely fucked up. But I feel like for me, the way I viewed it is that I felt like the filmmakers were trying, because the weird paradox with Freddy is that we're not supposed to like Freddy, He's whatever's implied or not implied, he is a child murderer. And
he's not likable in the first one. In the original Wes Craven one, you're not like, oh my god, Freddy, he's so cool. Like, it's not until number 2, which is a very unusual flick, and Dream Warriors, where he really gets his personality.
Part 2 is my favorite in the series, actually.
I gotta watch part 2 again. Like part 2, it's so weird. It's so weird.
I think a large part of it goes to Mark Patton. I love Mark Patton. He's like one of my favorite people in the horror community. Which I will have a funny side tangent story in a second. But to wrap up what I was saying about the Nightmare 2010 remake, because I feel like the filmmakers wanted to get back to the root of for many, many sequels, Freddy's like, people are like, Freddy's fun. He's, funny and jokey. He's still a child murderer. He's still scary. Right. And like some later films tried to get back to that. Like I felt like New Nightmare was really trying to get back to a scary Freddy. They just,
by the way, I love that movie.
Me too. I was gonna say they did it in kind of a bizarre way, but I love New Nightmare.
I know. I've got the box set up there. I've got to watch New Nightmare. I haven't got to it yet.
Check it out. It's so good.
But
I felt like with the remake, they were trying to get back to the concept of a scary but even more detestable Freddy. So they're like, we'll make it more extreme so that people aren't rooting for him. And for me, that actually made me connect, because with the 80s slashers, you never care about the characters. We all love Heather Langenkamp. She's great. Love Nancy, one of the best final girls. But you don't care about like anybody else in the movie. And I felt like that flushed the teens out by making Freddy so awful in that movie. But that's my stint on the Nightmare remake. But quick side tangent about Mark Patton. Met him at a convention last year. There was actually the convention that inspired the podcast, The Birth of Midnight Terrors.
That's cool.
Cool.
He was telling us a story, me and my mom. I met him, took a photo with him, all that stuff, got a signed 8x10. One of my favorite people I've met in the community. Very, very lovely, very, very nice. And we were talking, and when we took the photo, he did this pose. Like, I'll have to find the photo and put it on my Instagram so people can see it. He did this pose where he put his elbow up on my shoulder and then had his hand in his pocket. And I'm like, oh, he's doing like a strut or something. And we were talking about the pose with him, me and my mom, and we were like, we love the pose. That's a great photo. And
Yeah.
he goes, I call it the Nev Campbell. And he's like, I actually learned this pose from Nev Campbell because you go to these cons and sometimes you get some creeps. So like you put your elbow up on their shoulder, got your hand in your pocket, and then if someone goes to grab your ass, your elbow's already up here, just elbow them in the face.
There you go. There you go.
So now that's my favorite photo pose is the Nev
love that.
Campbell.
I love that. I also wanted to say, like, I think the reason why I thought they missed an opportunity here with Freddy, because it is a remake, and I understand that they're trying to like be as close to the original as possible with the remake, but I feel like you can also, there's so much room, especially with like a Freddy movie, like there's so much you can do. And I felt like maybe they could have had the implication that he was, but like I thought it would have been kind of cool if there was like a twist, like where the kids made it all up, because kids make up stupid shit all the time.
Yeah.
Kids make up dumb shit. They say things that aren't true, like to not get in trouble.
Yeah.
So maybe these kids, when they were younger, they concocted this like story about how he like did all this stuff to them, but that never happened. And I felt like
you just
that
made
kind
a
of
way more interesting movie.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
I've heard people say that before, where they've said, how interesting would it be if Freddy was innocent and it was a revenge flick?
Yeah. Because then it would kind of like, I guess maybe that would kind of take away from like, but it would also kind of make Freddy a more sympathetic character. I don't know if you'd want that.
You would empathize with Freddy even more.
Yeah, but like,
well, I mean, it worked for Jason. Like, Jason's a pretty sympathetic character. Up to a certain point. Like, after a while, like, all right, like he's in the future and in space. Get over it. Like, it's been a century now. Like, you gotta time to sleep, Jason.
Yeah, you've done your job.
Time to put your mommy issues to rest.
Go see a therapist. It's all good. You can get past it now.
Exactly.
I was going to say, because you're talking about kind of that balance between humorous and scary with Freddy Krueger, and it feels like that's something they obviously struggled with the remake. I really feel like that's something that we really got with Art the Clown, actually. Like, I was looking, like, I was rewatching it. Like, that is, because I'll be like, honestly, to me, like, I think visually he's the scariest character I've ever seen in my life. Like, there's something so unsettling about his look. But then, like, there are little moments where I'm like, oh, he's like, when he's putting the sunglasses on in Terrifier 2, like, that is a legitimate comedy scene. Like, it's so funny. But then, like,
you got the bedroom scene, and then you got him handing out trick-or-treat candy out of a severed head.
Yeah, it's when he's doing the funny stuff I enjoy that movie most. Like, that bedroom scene is full on. Like, that's, even though it's very clearly rubber, like, that's pretty intense. But then, like, there's other things. Yeah, like when he's doing the jack-o'-lantern and he's doing that's all pretty funny.
I actually had at a con, I saw Damien and David from Terrifier and all the Terrifier people do a Q&A with the fans in the audience. And one of the people asked them as a question, Damien, how does it feel to have topped the crucifix scene from The Exorcist with Terrifier 2? And he was like, I mean, I'm glad you feel that way. I've never thought about it that way, but
yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I like his subtle like Art the Clown is really scary. Like, I'm not a fan of those movies really, but like I like how he can like switch from like laughing and all of a sudden he's like, and it's like, oof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never mind. It was really funny what you did. I thought that was really, really funny. Just don't kill me, please.
Yeah.
all those facial expressions he makes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never been more like weirded out and uncomfortable in an opening scene of a movie than seeing Terrifier 2 in the theater where he goes to the laundromat.
Oh yeah.
It's just like, oh God.
What is happening?
That little girl
I won't ruin it for it. Oh, she is, dude. She's so creepy.
And I was watching the behind the scenes on the Blu-ray. I'm like, what is it about her that's so weird? And they were like, well, what we did was we took molds of her teeth and then we put them upside down. So she's got her top teeth on the bottom and her bottom teeth on the top. And that's why she looks so unsettling. I was like, oh, that is what it is. It's so creepy. Like,
oh, yeah.
Unfortunately, I had her spoiled for me before I saw the movie because side note, the internet sucks and they can't keep things to themselves for more than
That's why I got off Reddit. That's why I don't go to Reddit anymore. Like, Reddit just is ruining too many movies for me.
Yeah, the internet can't keep things to themselves past the 2 hours of them watching the movie at the premiere and they go, oh my God, have you seen this? No, I have not yet. It just came out.
Yeah, because it hasn't been released to us yet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So, side frustration, but
as I said, like being in Australia, like unless it's a Marvel film, like chances are I'm getting it at least a month after you guys.
yeah.
So like I'm always just like, please don't spoil it for me. Like I just have to go internet darkness.
That's how it was for me with Scream 6. I was like terrified for like, because I didn't see it the weekend it came out. I saw it the weekend after. So I'm like, oh my God, please don't let me see anything on it. Like,
Yeah.
luckily, because I had heard about somebody had posted something about who the 3 killers were. Like it showed like a there aren't
So there's
there
3
aren't.
killers in Scream 6. It's
No,
cool.
there aren't. It's fine. No,
That doesn't bother me. No, like honestly, like
but it should bother you because that's like a new thing that's never happened before, and I just
yeah,
fucked
but
it.
you
I'm
know
so-
what? Like before having a child, I was very like uptight about spoilers, and it was in the height of my snob. I didn't want it to be spoiled, and I would get furious if stuff got spoiled for me. I remember Michael's just sinking into his chair. I remember, I think it was during the pandemic, after one of the many lockdowns we had here in Victoria, because we're world record holders. Whoop whoop. My dad was talking to me about the latest James Bond film, No Time to Die, and he said what happened at the end of the film, and if you guys haven't seen it, like I won't spoil it. Like it's a great movie. But I was like, did you just spoil James Bond for me? Like it only came out like 2 weeks earlier. He goes, yeah, but you've seen it. And I'm like, no, because we've been in lockdown for a year and I have a baby. So when did I go to the movies? And he's like, oh, he goes, I'm sorry. He goes, well, you'll probably forget. Didn't forget, but it didn't ruin the film for me. And after that, I was like, you know what? Like spoilers. Like I saw the post-credit reveal of Thor: Love and Thunder like a month before I got to see it. Like I don't get so hung up on it anymore. I try to avoid them as best as possible. That's not an invitation to the audience to start sending me spoilers. Please don't.
Yeah.
But
to be honest, that was probably one of the more lackluster mid and post credit scenes. So you didn't.
Yeah, but I like that actor a lot. So I was very excited. I was like, oh, I love him. I'm so glad. I hope
I'm
we get more of
excited to
it.
see it, but I was just like, we kind of all knew that was coming.
Yeah.
Which side note, I thought when Michael said that about the 3 killers in Scream 6, I thought that he had froze for a second, and then I realized
I've seen that face before.
I realized that he was kicking himself for just.
No, he's seen that face before because I've done something like this before. There's a video of it up on my Instagram. I'm sure you both have seen it.
Our Life in Horror?
Yeah, it's when I had Our Life in Horror on, and Sam had gone onto my TeePublic thing to buy Brendan a shirt for his birthday, like to buy them merch for their birthdays. And it was a surprise between me and Sam, and Brendan didn't know about it. And then on the podcast, I'm like, there's a clip of me going, oh, and by the way, thank you so much, Sam, for buying my merch. And me and Sam were both like, Sam's like, yeah. And I'm like,
yeah, yep.
Yeah. And Brendan's face is priceless because he's like,
that's so great.
He had no idea. And I'm just like, yeah. So the same thing just happened when I just said that, when I was like, there's 3, and I was like,
that is something that's important to touch on with podcasting. We are all people. Sometimes we cannot speak properly. James, you said it on our Young Frankenstein episode. Sometimes the English language just avoids us, right?
Yeah, it eludes us. We just, we're not perfect. But that's, to me, like, that's the best part of it, the medium for me. Like, if I do everything perfectly, and I promise you I don't, and my listeners will attest to that, sure, it can be a good show, but like it's too fine-tuned. And that's one of the reasons why I don't edit it. I like to leave those very human moments in, like when you just say something dumb and then have a laugh about it. Because I was talking to you about this off mic last week, Kev. I was like, you can have a great show. You can have a great concept and a great co-host and stuff like that. But what I find that I do when I listen to podcasts, and what I'm finding what people are responding to most in my show, and certainly what I respond to in your shows, is the characters. It's like if I know, and especially because, again, Michael and I do it a little bit more, but even you get quite a few guests. If there's a repeat guest that I liked, I know that's my priority. I'm going to listen to that show. Like Michael just said, he's going to do a podcast with his sister. I know I'm listening to every goddamn episode of that podcast because
thank you.
Yeah, because like he's great, but she's great as well. And like, I know I see a spike. I won't say who, but like there are certain people who will come on my show. If I put out a clip or if I say they're on the show this week, that's going to get more response than other guests.
He didn't want to say names because he's talking about you and me, Kevin.
Yeah.
Kevin, I think Kevin
doesn't want to make anyone else feel bad.
I think Kevin's appearance on my show is the second most downloaded episode of all time. First is Tyler and Harley, of course.
I am more than happy to be second behind Harley and Tyler.
But
what am I, third?
Well, you're not, but you should be. The problem was that your episode came out during the beginning of your hiatus, so you weren't really using Instagram much at all. So there was less promotion for the show.
I'm so sorry. That makes me feel shitty.
Don't apologize. It's a great episode. That's why I'll always shout out stuff. I'm always like, hey, these are my favorite episodes recently, or I'll pop up clips and stuff like, listen to this, because sometimes people miss it the first time, or that's the thing. One thing that I struggle with the show is I just crossed the 1,000 follower mark on Instagram about a month ago or 2 months ago, which is very exciting.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, by the way, you're fucking you're getting so much traction.
That is slow to a halt.
Every time I look at but every time I look at your page for the last couple months, I'm like, damn, he's bam, bam, bam.
There was a period where every week I was getting 50 new followers. I don't know what I was doing. Yeah. I had people come out to me. They're like, you're growing so quickly. How did you do it? I'm like, this is what I'm doing, but I don't know how long it's going to last. And it has stopped. It's kind of frozen the book, but that's fine. I don't care about the number. If one person followed me, that means the world. But yeah. I wish I could translate followers to listens. If every single person who follows me on Instagram listened to one episode, I'd have the most successful podcast ever. It'd be great. I don't know why I brought that up, but yeah, ultimately, I'm bitter. Because ultimately, we're talking, Michael, you're not third, but you should be one of the most, realistically, your episode on my show should be one of the most downloaded, listened to episodes, because A, it's great, but B, I guess it's great. A and B is great. That's it.
Second verse, same as the first.
So that was one of those human moments I was talking about where I didn't plan what I was going to say, and then I clearly didn't know what I was saying. It is a great episode though. And all the feedback I've had on it is that's a fantastic episode. It's so fun. And I think
there's a real magic between you two when you guys collab. It's very infectious.
It's
I think there's magic between all of us.
Oh yeah, as I said, we've been recording for about an hour and a half, and we've barely spoken. It's just been so. One thing that I'm trying to do on the show, and I've been talking about doing a Patreon for a while, I've talked about it a little bit on the podcast, not too much, is do a show where I can just have tangents and stuff like that. But one thing that's difficult, and I don't know if you guys experience this the same way, every guest is different. So some guests are natural talkers. That's what I call them. They're just talkers. They're talkers. So I know if I pop them in front of the microphone for 2 hours, I can just sit back and relax, because it's going to be a very easy conversation. Like today, we've been talking for an hour and a half, and I haven't had to try once. It's been great. You guys are both natural talkers. When Michael was on the show, it was very easy. Kev, when you were on the show, it was very easy. But then you'll get other guests, and I'm sure you guys have experienced as well. They're not bad. They just haven't done it before. They're not used to podcasting, so you have to do a bit more prompting and do a bit more heavy lifting. So yeah, one thing for me has been trying to curate. Oh, I'm so sorry. It's I don't know what's going on with me this morning.
That's a reflux.
Is trying to curate a list of guests who could do more tangential stuff. Tangential stuff.
Tangent. I don't know.
Yeah, I with our show, I'm of the mentality of there are a ton of people who have never done a podcast, and they get nervous when they come on because they're like, I don't even know what to say. And I always tell people just keep it real. How would you talk to someone else if you're just standing in front of them? And I always push people to be try this podcast. My mom had never done a podcast before, and she ended up doing 3 episodes. And she's like, I was really nervous to do that beforehand, and I love it. Yeah. It's so great and so natural. I had my Rocky Horror friends. They had never done a podcast before. And I got a text from them after we finished recording, and they were like, that was so fun and so laid back and natural, and just felt like a real conversation between friends. And I've gotten that feedback from other people that it's their first time on a podcast. And I'm like, well, that's by design. It should be laid back conversations with friends. And I'm of the mindset of if someone's saying, oh, I'd really like to, but I've never done it, I always push them to be
do it.
Use our show to do that. Let it be your platform.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I've been really lucky, with my podcast, because I've never really had anybody on that I didn't have a good time with. I've been very fortunate. Been very fortunate in the guests that I've had on, because I haven't had a guest on yet that I'm I might never record with that person again.
Right. You know what's funny is like all the people that I just said, it was their first time on a show.
Yeah.
They were nervous, but like they just got it immediately. I don't know what it is, and it's like maybe it's just.
Well, spoiler alert! Like, there's no magic to podcasting. Like, it's just you just having a conversation, and it doesn't matter how nervous the guest is. I found it comes down to the host. You know, like you got to do the heavy lifting. And Kev, you're both great at this. But Kev, I experienced it for the first time last week when I was on your show because we're talking about a movie that I had not seen as much as you had, and I felt a little bit out of my depth a little bit. And I never felt I was kind of in danger. I never felt like I was going to say something dumb because I knew that you were going to drive the conversation. You could throw in some quotes, you could get it back on track. And so I think I said to you at a certain point, I'm like, I figured out my role in the episode very quickly. It's like, okay, I'm just going to throw in a joke every now and then. Like I can talk a little bit about the film, but my job today is to let Kevin do his thing and me just kind of embellish and add on to things. And that's the sign, I think.
And you and Jason were very good at that too.
Yeah, we're very rude to you. But I think that's what it ends up being. It's just one guest in particular, mine. I'll call her out. Like we talked about before, Elizabeth. She's my sister-in-law. She's my wife's sister. I invited her onto the show, and she was like, "Oh, I don't know." She said, "I love the idea, but I'm really nervous. I wouldn't know what to say." And my role as host is like, "Look, I'm going to drive it. This is what the show looks like. I don't know what you guys do before yours. Well, I guess I do to a certain extent because I've been on both your shows. Whenever I have a guest on for the first time, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to introduce you. I'm going to say a lot of lovely things about you. Then we're going to talk a little bit about you, what you're doing, what's your background in movies, when did you start liking them, and then we're going to go through your list. I'll drive the entire conversation. If you get stuck, I'll pick up on it. I'll keep it going. Don't worry. We'll do our little rapid fire at the end, and then we'll wrap up. And I find and her episode is also a top 10 episode. Like she was so good on it. She was so nervous. And we talked about the end. I'm like, you were nervous, weren't you? And she's like, yeah, I was really nervous at the show. I'm like, you were great. Like, and the results speak for themselves. Like it's one of the most listened to episodes. She's done, I think 3 or 4 since, like she's come back and it's just so much fun, like seeing that. And I love it at the end of a show where they're like, that was so much fun. Like they're shocked how much fun they had. I can't believe how much fun that was. When can I do it again? Well, that's like I guess the gift that we get to bring to people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Is that all the guests I've had, whether it was their first time or they've done it a few times, all of them, and this is something I will take not in like an arrogant way, but I will take pride in it. I love when people walk away from the show and say, "I had so much fun. Like, let's do that again." And like everybody that's been on the show has said that, and same. Maybe. Like, I don't know what it is. I love when people walk away. That's the ultimate compliment to me.
Yeah.
I agree.
Say, I would do that again.
Yeah, because that's like what I'm like, that's one of my biggest fears when I have like anyone new on my podcast. I'm like, oh God, how do I not make it boring? How do I do that? How do I make it a fun experience for them? And I'm always like, I always psych myself out beforehand. Like before I ever have anybody new on my show, like I psych myself out and then I'm like, and then we get finished and they're like, oh, that was really fun. I'm like, oh, thank God. Like, thank God you had fun because I had fun. I hope you guys had fun. Yeah. Like, it's just like that reassurance of knowing that like you're doing a good job. And I think like to add to that point, like I love getting, like I've a few times in the last few years, like I've had a couple of people like reach out to me like that I didn't even know listen to the podcast and they just like reach out and they're like, I love your podcast. Like, keep doing what you're doing. Like that just means a lot. Cause like, I don't know about you guys, but I've had several times in my podcasting, I guess you could say career for the last 3 years where I've thought about like throwing in the towel, which is not what I'm doing right now. Just, I want to clarify to the listeners, I am not quitting the We Love Horror podcast. It's just going on a little vacation for a little bit. I'm putting it to bed for now. But like, there have been times when I'm just like, I don't know if I can do this. And like, that just like the whole, you guys and other people reaching out and being like, no, your show is great. Keep doing what you're doing. Like that just keeps you wanting to keep going.
Well, one thing you pointed out, you kind of glossed over a little bit there, Michael. You said like, your professional podcasting career is that this is a hobby, like that's the thing. And I think, like obviously my guests know that, but I don't know that everyone listening to the show does know that. It's like, I don't get paid to podcast. In fact, I actively go out of my way to make sure that the show is free and that there's no cost involved for the listener or myself. Like the t-shirts took as long as they did because like I don't want, like once I start spending money, it's not fun for me, and I don't want to ask for a lot of money from people. Even contrary to my appearances on both your shows, I'm like, follow my show and give me money. Like I don't want that from people.
Patreon merch,
So for us, like like I don't work full time anymore, but I work 30 hours a week. I work three 10-hour shifts, and I'm a father. So everything that I do on the show is extracurricular. It comes outside of work. It comes outside of my family life. So it is like having a second job, and like to try and put out as much content as we do. Like Michael, you and I both do very long episodes. Like we do, most of our episodes are minimum 2 hours long. And Kevin, I know you've got a big one coming. But Kevin was like, guys, I did a 3 episode this week, and I was like, oh, so a We Love Horror. I was a Teenage Film Snob length episode.
I think this was off air when I said this. It's Saturday at 7:43 as we're doing this. I have so much to edit before Monday.
Yeah.
Like tomorrow, I'm just going to be hunkered down at my computer. Like I'm editing the episode. It'll be out by the time this comes out, but the Young Frankenstein episode I'm editing. And then I have our crossover with Mutant City Horror. And then we did our 1-year anniversary special because our 1-year anniversary is July 3rd. And we went out of our way to make that something special where it was a 2-parter where it's one whole episode, but the first half was us just walking through memory lane and talking about our favorite episodes and talking about, giving tons of shout outs to everybody. We definitely mentioned both of you several times.
Yeah, I think I mentioned both of you guys in my 1-year anniversary as well. Because And
then the second half was we asked people for questions, and we got 23 questions.
Wow.
And they weren't like yes or no answers. And I'm like, well, we're not going to cut anything out. We're gonna leave it all in. So now it's like 3.5 hours long, and I'm like,
that's good. That's good.
I'm gonna try to condense it a little bit because there's some stuff in there where we were trying to gather our thoughts and stuff like that. But for the most part, what was in there is what's gonna show up. And again, I think it just goes back to keeping it real. Like one of my favorite pieces of feedback I ever got was from someone that to this day I don't know who it is. It's just someone that found our show on Apple Podcasts and they decided to leave us a review, and I was shocked because this was in the first month of us doing the show, and they gave us a 5-star review, and I'm like, have you heard other podcasts? Like, and they were like 5 stars, just buds talking horror, and I'm like, that's our mission from day one. I said I want to have a community of horror lovers built around this thing, and that's our mission. And someone out there that I don't know picked up on that, and I'm like, that is forever what we are.
Well, to add to your point, like also like my podcast has always been a horror podcast first and foremost, but another thing that I feel like people have like recognized with my podcast is that I'm so like, I guess, candid and open about my mental health struggles. Like I'm not one to like, I actually had, which I'm no longer friends with this person because of this whole thing, but like a couple years ago, I released, I think, my New Year's special where I shouted out a bunch of people. This was like still really early on in my podcast, but like I was having a lot of issues, like mental health wise. And so like I've been very candid on the podcast about it. And a lot of people like have reached out to me and like they appreciate the fact that I'm so candid. And one of my friends was like, do you think that's like a little bit of like attention seeking? I'm like, whoa. No, not so much. He's like, well, why would you say that on the podcast? And I'm like, because to help other people that might be going through the same thing I am, to feel like it's okay to talk about it. And like, I literally told him, I was like, oh, no, not this whole like mental health shaming thing again. We're not doing this. This is 2020. I think it was like 2021 when we had this conversation. I was like, this is 2021, not 1993 or something. Like mental health is not something that we should be ashamed of. And like, if I want to talk about it, I'm going to talk about it. Because if it helps someone.
I want to say,
sorry, I was just gonna say if it helps somebody like that's going through the same thing I am, like why not?
Absolutely. I've always loved that about your show is your candor. Like you're very candid on the show. I've obviously, and I think the listener know I've gone through some mental health stuff on the reg, but I tend to. I haven't put in the show so much, but I do put on the Instagram quite a bit. Like, hey, like this is what's going on. Like, sorry, I've been inactive. I've just been like dealing with life and being me. I get most of my mental health venting out just by talking to you, Michael. We just complain all the
time. That's true. Yeah.
And I want to say thank you for that, Michael, because people need that. People need that honesty. And I think that's why we go to podcasts, right? Like even when I'm not podcasting, I'm listening to podcasts almost as much as I listen to music. And like as much as music is cathartic for me and a release from, all the bullshit that we all go through, podcasting is just like that. If I can tune out the world for a few hours and listen to buddies of mine talk about stuff that they love, and especially, even more so if it's something that I connect with, it's that release and it's that comfort blanket. So, but I also applaud you and I thank you for being such a mental health advocate on your show, because people need to know that it's okay to not be okay,
Yeah, because like I think I've lived a lot of my life. Like I lived a lot of my life growing up feeling like I guess I've always been kind of the person that shared my life with people. Like I guess I can't say that I've always been like closed off or anything, but like I felt like I was burdening people with that stuff. Like whenever I tell someone what was going on with me, I always felt like a burden. Like, oh, I'm piling my shit on top of your shit, But I think that does happen, Like you don't want to just always trauma dump on people. Like that's not something you want to do. But like I think
I've definitely been someone who's been like, I'm so sorry. Like next time we talk, we'll talk about fun stuff. Like I do apologize. Like
me too.
Yeah, but I think it's also important to like be able to know that you can talk about that stuff with people. I think that it's important to be honest about how you're feeling. Otherwise, like people aren't getting to know the real you. And I feel like that's been one of the biggest things for me starting this podcast is I wanted to be, we've been talking about like being candid and like being ourselves on the show. Like I just feel like that's one thing that I can take away that I've done has been like absolutely 100% myself. Like, do I get a little more weird when my sister's on the show? Absolutely. Like you see the more weird side of me come out when I'm with my sister. Like me and my sister were making weird like fucking gurgling noises on my podcast for like a minute and a half straight. We're like,
that's top tier podcasting right there. That's like, it's so good.
Like we were talking about earlier how like, do we listen to our podcast episodes back? And I'm like, I don't mean to sound like a narcissistic when I say this, but yeah, I do listen to my podcast back.
Good. Like, that's good. No, you shouldn't be ashamed of that.
I don't listen to it like I had somebody actually, like I was listening to it at work and I had somebody come up to me and they saw that I was listening to their like, you listen to your own podcast? Like they were saying it as if I was like, and I was like, well, I listen to it because I want to make sure that like it sounds good. Like the sound, like, which is mostly why I listen to it. Like I'll air it and then I'll listen to it on the day that I like released it, just to make sure that the like nothing's wrong with the audio, because I've had audio problems in the past. So like that's a lot of the reason why I listen to it. But then there's certain episodes that I listen to, like I've listened to multiple times, but just because I like the guest or the movie that we're talking about, or and sometimes I will pat myself on the back. I'm like, you know what, that was funny. What I said was funny. That was great. Yeah, that was fun.
Usually I'm so early on when we started the show, I would listen to the episodes as they came out. I kind of stopped doing that because I'm like, I'll take time to listen to my friends' shows more so than my own. Like I know what we said, I was there. But like a lot of times when I listen back to an episode, it's ones that had guests on it. Because Jason and I do those types of conversations even when we're not recording.
Yeah.
And so like a lot of times I'll listen back to episodes that have guests on it. Like case in point, Dawn of the Dead with James is I think one of our funniest episodes.
Such a fun episode.
Yeah.
And I still want to see the spinoff podcast, The Fart House. And
should I give him a little taste? The mic arm. Here we go.
Oh, go for it.
It was the mic. It wasn't me. I'll do it quicker. There you go.
I would love to know, like, so I'm still working my way through your episodes, but I remember you talking about where someone gave you feedback and you're like, they're like, hey, I know you're not doing it, but whatever you put your mic up, it sounds like.
Oh yeah, it wasn't on the show. She mentioned it. That's Gabby. Gabby, who also said the lovely things about Michael before. She's a pretty regular staple on the show. She's like, she goes, hey, I know you weren't farting, but it definitely sounded like you were farting on the show. I'm like, oh no, I'm moving the microphone because I'm coughing.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, maybe just mute yourself next time or not, like whatever you want. It's your show. And I was like, all right.
Well, I think it was because you were so quick with your wit that this line made me laugh. Is I said that would be a great idea for a podcast, is just fart noises mixed with your conversations.
Yeah.
There's a slight pause, and James goes, we'll just call it the Fod House, and it'll.
That's not what I sound like, is it? It's going to be I always thought I did have a very Australian accent until I hear myself next to Americans. So this will be the most ochre sound.
No, don't judge your accent based off of me.
Yeah, I fucking love Australian accents. And I told you that like the first time I ever talked to you, James. I think I said that. And I was like, I'm not trying to offend you. I really love your accent. Cause I think I went, crikey, mate.
Yeah.
Like I think I did like,
Dude.
and I was like, ooh, that was probably offensive. That probably made it like, that
Nah,
probably
it's
made
not.
it feel like I was making fun of
Get
him.
along great with Jason then, because Jason also did that same shit when we met James.
Well, do you remember we had to do a second take when we were recording my first the Dawn of the Dead episode, Kevin, and I was like, "G'day," and I was like, "Cut that! I would never say g'day." Like,
I
that's
fucking
not
love
in my
it, mate.
lexicon at all.
Well, we've started to throw around "nice one" because that's James's like catchphrase.
It's not even deliberate. It's just that's my filler word. You know, like when I hear "nice,"
You-
one, I'm like, "Oh,
You
no."
say that a lot when we message too. You're like, nice
Yeah,
one.
you do.
I
And
love
what's
it.
funny is I'm so familiar with your voice now that I can hear you say it.
Yep.
And same with
I
you,
can-
Michael. When we're messaging, when you say stuff, I can hear it in the way that you
Same.
would deliver it if we were talking on the phone.
That's how you two are too. Like I'm always like I could just it's like we're texting but we're having like a conversation with each other because I can hear your voices in my head. Does that sound like I have does that sound like I have multiple personalities or I can hear the voices in my head. They're talking
I've
to
been
me.
talking about doing a spin-off with one of my guests, so I won't go into too much information yet because it's still in the works. But we're talking about doing a show where we drink and review movies.
Yes.
And she's like, but there are rules. So, for example, you're not allowed to say "nice one," and I'm like, it's
We
not going to happen.
turn it into a drinking game. How it,
Well,
like,
I don't
Yes.
drink. I don't know if I told you guys this before, but I've definitely talked about it on the show. I don't really drink anymore. I haven't really drank since I was 30. But I was like,
yeah.
oh, I will start drinking if it's going to be for the podcast. Like, I'll make the exception. Like,
James is like I haven't
There we
drank
go.
since I'm. James is like I haven't drank since I'm 30 and I'm only 31. So
I'm 35 this year, guys. I'm middle aged as of
He's like,
November.
he's like, I haven't drank since I was 30, and he's not even 30 yet.
yeah.
Looks like
Yeah,
I gave the
I know,
wrong
but
week to give up cigarettes.
Right? Yeah, no, I mean, a lot of times I go back and I listen to the guest episodes. So I listened to the one with Harley and Tyler and Mr. J. I listened to the one that me and Michael did with Tyler.
Tyler.
I can't wait to listen to that.
Which I got to say, Tyler has such quick wit about him.
Mm.
You know, he sound like he'll be serious, and then when he's ready to go off, he's fantastic. And same with Harley. I remember, and James, this is not a spoiler. There was one point.
Wait, Three Killers?
Yeah, there was one point where we were talking.
Oh God!
Where Michael and I were talking with Tyler on the episode, and I asked Michael and Tyler what their thoughts were on what I was hearing on the internet, where people were like, "Can we just drop the meta thing now with Scream and just make it a normal slasher?" And I said, "What do you guys think?" And there was like a little pause, and Tyler goes, no."
Yeah.
It was, and he just dove
no.
in, and he's like, "No, I do not agree with that at all."
Yeah, like so the most defining quality of the film, like
yeah. Which,
I
side
do
note,
think. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Michael. No, go
Well,
ahead.
I was just gonna say, I do think, as far as like meta stuff goes, and I think I did say this on your episode, I think they need to like maybe cool it off with the stab references in every single movie, because that's kind of gotten a little old. But like, as far as like being like the meta kind of stuff, like I like that still. So
That's
I think
I would also say for that franchise, the stab references peaked with Scream 4. Like that opening to me is so good. Like how do you top that? It's like after they did the Batmobile chase in Dark Knight, why would you ever do another Batmobile chase? You don't need to. Like you've hit perfection. You don't need to do any more stab references. But I understand like they want to do that.
So they didn't. They brought in the Bat for Dark Knight Rises.
That's right. Yeah. And I thought that, and then obviously Rob Pattinson's Batmobile chase is very good. So I was like, okay, you can keep doing it. That's okay.
As long as you're doing it well, I guess you can do it.
As long as I'm still enjoying myself, which I always will.
That's how I feel about the Scream movies, because I've heard a lot of people say that they're sick of the Scream films, and I'm like, you can keep making more if they're as good as they're fucking getting. Like Scream 6 was so good. I loved it.
I'm literally gonna just plan out my evening. I'm gonna sit down and watch Scream 6. I'm just gonna go straight to that episode where you go to the crossover, and just like that'll be my post movie warm down.
James is like to his wife, he's like, "Honey, I cannot hang out with you tonight. I must watch Scream 6." And
do you know what she'll say? I'll go, "Honey, I can't hang out with you tonight," and she'll be like, "Good."
Yeah, good.
Oh, it's so good.
I've been here like 15 years. Shut up about movies. We get it. Yeah. You like watching stories.
Yeah, that was my long tangent answer. I listened to the guest episodes. James, I know you got to watch Brotherhood of the Wolf recently. I don't know if you got to listen to our episode with reviewed to
No,
death.
not yet, but I know that there's some I know there's some sexy content in that episode. So.
Oh.
Do you like a discussion about werewolf porn? Because it's there.
All
I
right.
told you it was gonna get sexy. I told you at the start of this episode I was bringing the sex.
I mean, I like men that are bears, so I guess technically, it's a completely different animal. But I guess I can get into werewolf stuff. I guess.
So you're into Cocaine Bear then, which was
Which is I think it's a different movie from what I watched, because my Cocaine Bear was like an actual man that looked was hairy and was snorting cocaine and then doing things.
It was just an 80s sex romp.
Yeah, it was an 80s porn called Cocaine Bear, extra large. Yeah.
If anyone wants to view said werewolf film, Curse of the Wolf Babe, look it up.
Interesting.
And but yeah, no, we went off the rails because Jason picked so I'm not huge into foreign films.
Ooh, that's okay.
Not because I have any not because I have anything against them.
Just kidding.
Yeah. Not because I have anything against them. I have a really hard time focusing on reading and watching at the same time. But I also don't want to. I feel like I'm losing something if I watch the dub version.
Yeah, the dub.
I'm saying that as someone who grew up watching all. I'm saying that as someone who watched all the dub versions of the Godzilla movies as a kid. But nowadays, as a film lover, and especially with horror films, I want to see them in their truest form. I just can't watch them on constantly because I have.
Oh yeah.
Maybe it's a distraction thing or just my attention span. I have a really hard time watching and reading at the same time,
Yeah.
Oh, I won't watch 3 foreign films in a week. I'll watch I'll watch a Korean film, and then I'll go back to it's one where I don't have to read so much, and then I'll put another one on. It's not exhausting, but there's definitely more of an effort there because your concentration level has to increase and you have to get more engaged with the film. Whereas film watching is generally quite passive. Foreign films, if you are going to go subtitles, there is more work to be done. But it is you are missing out if you're not watching them. I would say if you haven't seen these 3, this is a good place to start.
Mm-hmm.
Raw, which is a French cannibal film by Jules Ducournau, which is great.
Good.
I Saw the Devil is a really good Korean film, and Train to Busan. I would say is a great place to stuff.
Train to Busan, I love.
Yeah, that was the first.
That one.
That was the first foreign film to make me cry. That ending is so heartbreaking. Yeah.
If we wanna have some waterworks, Train to Busan, man, what a masterpiece!
I know, really good. That movie was I don't know. I've watched that movie twice, and I haven't watched it again. That movie's hard for me. That's a movie that I'm difficult. I don't know if I can watch that one ever again. It was too heartbreaking for me.
Let's do an episode on movies where we cried because mine's slightly embarrassing from when I was.
Oh, I cry watching everything. I cried watching Indiana Jones the other night.
Oh yeah,
I cry all the time.
I've been watching One Tree Hill again for the 13th time. This would be the 13th time I've seen this show all the way through. But I still cry over everything, and I've been watching it with Eric. And he makes fun of me sometimes because he'll just be looking over. He's like, "Are you crying?" And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." And I'll cry multiple times an episode too.
Yeah. Yes. Show wise, I actually have the Blu-ray sitting right here, so I'll hold it up. If I want to cry, either of these 2 shows.
Oh, I know. Oh my God.
I have to get onto that. I have to watch them. So
you still have not seen The Haunting of Hill House, James?
Yeah, I've been terrible with TV. My focus for there you go, some improv. Very rarely will I improv some acting on the show. I apologize for breaking people's. Yeah.
Well, I put Valak up to the screen and said, "You better watch Hill House."
We need a screenshot of Michael's holding the.
Only if we can write next to it, relationship status, none your business.
But dude,
that's
Haunting
funny.
of Hill House is a tearjerker for sure. But I mean, and Michael, you've seen Bly Manor, right?
I actually haven't finished Bly Manor.
What kind of horror fan are you?
well, here's the thing. Ever since Hill House came out, I have such a high standard now with Mike Flanagan shows, and granted, I thought Midnight Mass was really good. I thought that like what I saw of Bly Manor was pretty good, but I'm like nothing has like compared to Hill House yet, and I'm like still waiting for something to top Hill House, and it hasn't. So I guess I have this like snobby, like I'm not trying to be snobby about it. I'm just like, because I thought
there's only room for one snob on the show. Thank you very much.
Michael's gonna have a spin-off. I was a teenage Flanagan snob.
Yeah,
it has the same. No, it has the same initials. I won't stand for that.
Fair use.
Exactly.
No,
not trademarked.
But watch, we're gonna record with James again, and he's like, "I've copywritten everything. You owe me a quarter every time you say this name."
I have documents, and I will be seeking legal action. I'm just kidding. You will be hearing from my attorneys.
James, when you watch Haunting of Hill House, I won't ruin Bly Manor as well, but Bly Manor, I mean, get a box of tissues, man. Like,
I love a good cry.
That show had me bawling my eyes out. Bly Manor, and then Hill House did as well. And Michael, I know you've seen that one, but the wrap up and the music that's playing, it's just like, oh my God, Flanagan.
There's one part where, and I'm not spoiling this, I just won't tell you the characters. There's a certain part where like there's two characters that go to the house at the end, and he's like, we made it. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do.
Oh, that makes me cry every time.
It's I'll tell you what, it is a rare treat to get some tears in a horror film. You know, like it's generally weighted so heavily on the fear angle or trying to wait to get the scares out that's why there's so many quote unquote bad horror films, even though I can watch plenty of horror films that are considered bad and enjoy them. We've been talking about 2010 Nightmare on Elm Street quite a bit today. But but
well, I think
they're so focused on that.
Sorry. You go.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say they're so focused on getting the scares for the most part that you don't get to enjoy that full scope. So when you do get a good cry in a horror film, it's just like chef's kiss.
Well, that's the thing that I love about The Haunting of Hill House is because it is fucking scary. Like there's some genuinely like scary shit in that show where I'm like, there were a couple of scenes in that show where I had to go turn on the lights. Like there's a specific part in the very first episode that I was like, I did not fucking like that at all.
Was it the ending?
Yes.
Holy dude, I had the same reaction.
Yeah, I was like, nope, I didn't like that.
Is it a jump scare or is it more just because
no, it's more of a reveal and a lingering.
Okay. Yeah. Did Ari Aster work on this one? Because that's his jam.
They let it sit with you, and then there's like a scare accompanied with it. But again, no spoilers. But I'm actually watching Hill House with my mom because again, she's always said she's not a big horror fan. She loved Bly Manor, and Bly Manor got kind of unfairly hated on when it came out because it wasn't Haunting of Hill House, and it's not so reliant on the scares. It's like a gothic period romance ghost story. And
I guess that's why I was like kind of disappointed because I guess I went in thinking it was going to be Hill House and it wasn't. So like I need to watch, I need to give it the fair watch that it deserves. I just like
I did the same thing. I brushed it off when it came out. I got like 3 episodes in. I'm like, this is not doing it for me. Because it is a slow build. But by the end, I mean, again, get a box of tissues, man. But Hill House, James, this is not a spoiler, but I'm watching it with my mom because I told her, I'm like, okay, you love Midnight Mass, you love Bly Manor, and she liked Dr. Sleep too. And I said, you've got to see Haunting of Hill House. It's like what he's known for mostly. Because Mike Flanagan is my favorite filmmaker of all time.
Thank you. I'm glad that somebody else has validated that for me because like after Wes Craven passed away, he's no longer my favorite because he hasn't made movies in like, 10 years now, but like
a decade now.
He was my favorite and then he passed away. And then I was like, oh, well now I need to find a new favorite. And it's Mike Flanagan. And when I tell people that they're like, that is asinine. Like,
no.
Is it because he's so, I mean, I actually don't know the history of Mike Flanagan. Is he relatively new on the scene and that's why people are saying that's asinine? Has he been around for a while or?
He's had a bit of a slow crawl. His first film was a film called Absentia in 2011.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen it, but I remember the DVD cover.
Yeah, so kind of a low budget. I haven't seen it all the way through. I started to watch it, but it's kind of a low budget, creepy horror movie about a family. That's his thing, is that he always incorporates family drama. And he's so good at doing it. And like all the characters, when they're fighting with each other within the family, like you can relate to it because you're like, well, I've been there before.
Yeah.
You know, it's like Michael, when you were talking about Danny from Midsummer. It's like, well, I've been there before. But then after that, he did Oculus.
Which I liked Oculus quite a bit.
Underrated as hell movie. And like, I actually got a funny enough
with Kevin's best friend Karen Gillan.
I'll have to send you that video. When I met Karen, that's what I asked her about because love her as Nebula, love her in Jumanji, but I wanted to talk to her about Oculus because that's my favorite film of hers. Yeah. And I got so I'm not a Doctor Who fan.
I was gonna say that's probably was her big debut was Doctor Who, yeah.
It was. And I got a nasty comment on my channel. And because my YouTube channel is Kevin Roach Music, so it has my name on it. Because like I post all my a bunch of performance videos up there, but that's where I put the GalaxyCon chat so people can watch it. And this person found me on Facebook as well because my first and last name were there. They left the same comment on my YouTube video. They sent me a Facebook message. They commented on my Facebook post and left an angry reaction on it. And they said, I'm sorry, I have to give this video a dislike because you clearly don't have Doctor Who fandom and you don't have any Doctor Who fans around you. And I'm like, sorry?
I'm sorry that I didn't say that Doctor Who was my favorite. God forbid. God forbid I have a different opinion from you. Yeah. Sorry.
I had someone do that. I had someone do that with my Tim Curry chat as well. They were like, what the fuck? You're talking with Dr. Frankenfurter and you only brought up it? It's like, okay, one, I only get 2 minutes, first of all.
Yeah.
Second, I saw it way before I saw Rocky Horror Picture Show. So I love Rocky Horror Picture Show. It's in my top 10.
Oh yeah, if anyone knows anything about Kevin, is he loves Rocky Horror. Like that is not a secret.
I do.
Like
I love Rocky Horror Picture Show. It's in my top 10 favorite movies of all time at this point. But I didn't bring up Frankenfurter because I only got 2 minutes, and I'm like, well, I got to tell him thank you for it because that's what made me a horror fan and why I'm here now. And they got mad at me for not bringing it up, and I'm like, it goes without saying I love Dr. Frankenfurter, but I only get one chance ever in my life to thank Tim Curry for Pennywise. I'm going to take it.
On the Karen Gillan thing, I think that is probably a cooler one for her. Because I guarantee she gets Doctor Who every day. She gets Nebula every day. She probably even gets Jumanji every day. But I guarantee she's not getting Oculus every day. Like I was talking to when I interviewed Tyler and Harley, he was talking about the time he met Nev Campbell or one of the first.
I remember this story.
Yeah, and he like talked about how he dropped a reference. It wasn't Scream. It wasn't Party of Five. It was something very kind of unique. I'm like, that's the move, right? That's the fan move. Like, I'm going to quote the same thing that 400 million other people have quoted to them. No, I'm going to go a bit of a deep cut because that's going to get a more interesting conversation. They'll be like, oh, wow, like you are looking beyond what everyone else knows. Like to me, like that's interesting. Yeah.
And I think like going back on that Karen Gillan thing for a minute, like I think Oculus is my favorite role of hers as well. Yeah. Not only because I love her, but like there's that whole setup because like on paper, like I feel like the script would have been exhausting to write first and foremost, like for this fucking movie, because it's such a mind trip. So I'm like, how the fuck do you write all this shit on paper and make it make sense on film? I don't know. That would have given me a headache to write Oculus. Good for frickin' Mike Flanagan for pulling it off. But that movie just gives me a fucking headache watching it if I'm not like, because the first time I watched Oculus, I didn't like it because I wasn't paying attention to it. It was like similar to my experience with The Witch. I had put it on. I was focusing on other things. But Oculus is a movie you have to fucking watch. Otherwise, you're going to get halfway through and you're going to be like, what is fucking going on? And that's how it was for me because I wasn't fully paying attention. So I wasn't like fully paying attention to like the past and present timelines. Like I was just watching. I'm like, who the fuck, like, what is going on anyway? But I love that movie now. But it's like, I don't know how you write that movie and not have a fucking headache after you're done. But like the whole like setup where she's talking to the camera about the mirror and she's going through like all the things, her acting is so good right there just because it's like you have to keep the viewers interested in what you're talking about because this on paper could sound very boring if you're not like in it. And she's like so good. She's like blah, 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 blah. And then, and then he's trying to interrupt her and she just keeps going. She's like, blah, blah, and it's like so good. Anyway, that's what I wanted to say.
Case in point, that just goes back to Flanagan's writing. And when I told Karen Gillan about my fandom for that movie, and I wanted to ask her what it was like working with Mike Flanagan because she's one of my favorite actresses and he's my favorite director. So that's what I wanted to focus on. And when I told her, I said, my personal favorite role of yours, I do love Nebula, but my personal favorite has to go to Kaylee with Oculus. And her face lit up and she went, ooh, okay. So like, you never know how it's going to affect people when you really know their work. And funny side note about that as well. Has everyone seen Halloween Resurrection before?
Oh yeah. I try to forget about it, but
yeah,
I try to forget it, but
Halloween was a franchise I came to pretty late. Like I'd seen like the original and I'd seen the zombie ones, but I only really watched all the sequels in the last few years. So I've seen Resurrection once.
So Halloween
is that the Big Brother one with like in the house and the cameras and stuff? Yeah,
it has Tyra Banks in it and
Busta Rhymes.
Yeah,
and so Halloween Resurrection is one of my favorites. I am fully aware that it is not a good movie, but it is so entertaining to me how absurd it is.
Michael, that was such a respectful reaction.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kevin. Yeah. Sorry to rain on your parade. Sorry to shit on your Cheerios, but yeah.
How dare you?
I know.
I've openly said how much I love Repo the Genetic Opera, which is widely maligned. So
I'm still waiting for you to pick that, James.
Oh my goodness! I've never spoken to anyone who's seen it before. Oh my goodness, we've got so many.
I'm still waiting for you to pick that, so I have to watch that, James.
I know, but we've got another film we're going to talk about on your show first. That's the one that's going to be really, really good.
Yep.
Don't even get me started on my tangent about how much I love Paris Hilton. So
she is so good in that flick. And you mentioned it when you talk about House of Wax. Paris Hilton is great. Have you ever seen? Have you seen her cooking show on Netflix? Oh,
it's so funny.
It's so good. So, what even is this?
But I like to tell people that she was the original internet troll because she had us all fucking convinced back in like the early 2000s that she was a dumbass, like that didn't know her fucking left foot from her right foot. And she's actually a very smart woman. Like she's a very smart businesswoman. I love her actual voice because I don't know if I brought this up to any of you guys, but there's like a video that I watched, like a paparazzi type of video, where she's talking, like I think it's like her and Kim Kardashian are getting out of the car, and you hear Paris Hilton talking to Kim Kardashian in her normal voice, which is more of like a deeper, like manlier voice. And then as soon as the paparazzi interacts with her, she gets into that character, that Paris character, where she's like, "Hi," like it's just so funny. Like you just see like the switch. She's like talking in like her normal voice. She's like Kim, blah 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 blah, and then she's like, "Hi," like it's so great. I just love it. Anyway, yeah,
6
Repo the
degrees to Paris Hilton from Halloween Resurrection.
Seriously.
But what I was saying earlier about the Halloween Resurrection one is I spoke to Brad Larray, who played Michael Myers in that one, and I'm not shitting you. This is one of my favorite con stories ever. I told him that it's one of my favorites, and I'm not shitting you. He looks at me and goes, "Halloween Resurrection is one of your favorites?" And I go, "Yeah, I love it." And he goes, "You're lying." I was like, "No, I'm not." He's like, "You're one of the few people that have told me that." And he's Michael Myers in it, and he's there promoting it, and he's like, "You're one of the people to tell me that you like this movie."
See, I kind of feel bad about that because like there are people like, and I said this on an episode. I think it was the Jeepers Creepers episode I did with Our Life in Horror. I'm like, I do feel bad when I shit on like the Jeepers Creepers Reborn movie. I'm like, I do feel bad when I shit on these movies because I'm like, there are people that genuinely like work their asses off to get these movies made, and then they get so much hate, and I'm like, but I'm like, they're still not good. I'm sorry, but like, I like
no one sets out to make a bad film.
Right, but I like his portrayal of Michael Myers in Resurrection. Like, I've never had a problem with Michael in that movie. It's more so the other.
And as soon as I told him that, he came back with like, he's like, honestly, maybe people can say, well, you're biased because you're in it, but he literally was like, I think it's kind of a different take on the character, and I think it's actually kind of underrated. I was like, yeah, I agree. That's why I like it and that's going back to Halloween Ends. That's why I like Halloween Ends because, like, how many fucking times can we watch Michael stab people?
Right.
Like, you have to change it up at some point. You don't have to
I was like, he's got an apprentice? This is great.
Yeah.
You don't have to go you don't have to go with the Cult of Thorn like they did in Halloween 6 and 5.
Fuck that shit. Fuck that. If anything's worse than Resurrection, it's that Cult of Thorn bullshit. Get that out of here. Like, dude, I hate
Michael,
it.
we should team up and do a ranking the Halloween movies episode.
Yes, we should, because I've done that on my podcast. I don't know if I've Did I do a recent one though, where I ranked every single one? Yes, I did. But I would love to do that on your show. Let's do it for sure.
James, you're in too. Let's rank the
James.
the Halloween movies.
Oh, there's
James
so
will have to watch them though.
Yeah,
you have to watch all 13, man.
Are there more Halloween horror movies than Jason ones now? I think there are, right?
At this point, yeah.
We haven't made a Jason one in over 10, almost 15 years, which is disappointing.
Well, because there's technically 12 if you count Freddy versus Jason.
And you have to.
Yep.
Which Freddy versus Jason is a masterpiece.
It's so good.
I mean, look, some of the dialogue is very dated and very of its time.
It is, yeah.
Like Kelly Rowland's, I don't know why she decided that was good. That was good for her career. That dialogue, but anyway,
I thought she was great in it though.
She's good in it, but yeah,
like
some of the dialogue, but like, are we using homophobic slurs in 2003?
Yeah,
like. Is that what we're gonna do? Is that what Destiny's Child represents? Okay.
Watch her get canceled in like 3 years because of that fucking movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I do love that movie. I love when Freddy's in the real world and he's like cutting all the canisters and like launching them at Jason with it. It's so good.
Yeah. It is unfortunate when you go back and you're like, yeah, it sucks that this was normal like dialogue, even just with people talking to each other. So
it's like she's like, what's the worst thing I can call this evil monster? Oh, I know. It's like, is it?
Yeah, it is unfortunate, and it does put a damper on it a little bit. But getting past that, it is
still an enjoyable flick.
Yeah, it's a kung fu movie with Freddy and Jason.
And I'll say this: Monica Keena, underrated final girl. I love her in that movie.
She's and speaking of Oculus, the mom that's in Oculus is in how she plays the blonde girl with the short hair that gets decapitated on the stairs. That's her. That's the one that plays.
Shit.
Yeah, Karen Gillan's mom in Oculus. That's her.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Everything comes full circle in these conversations.
Yes. I do love when Freddy fires the where he says, "Man, the torpedoes."
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Shoots off the air compression canisters.
Oh, I was talking about Resurrection, by the way. Sorry.
I was confused. I was like,
blonde
girl got decapitated.
You're like, wait, what? Huh?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's why I didn't tag up on it. I was like, I can't remember that. Oh, no.
It's all good. It's all good. But
going back just quickly, Kev, to Repo, which you do need to watch. Bill Moseley is all over that flick. I know you're a big Bill Moseley fan. So he's so good in it as well. And I'm sure it'll get covered when we eventually talk about Devil's Rejects. But can we talk about like how sexy he is as Otis in Devil's Rejects? Like he shouldn't be. He's a redneck and like he's horrible.
He has the best intro in any horror movie of a character in Devil's Rejects when he wakes up hugging the naked corpse.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, the things he does aren't sexy.
We can talk about how sexy Sherry Moon Zombie is in that movie because I think she's pretty good.
In both that and House of a Thousand Corpses. I was disappointed, Kevin, to give you some feedback on your show, which I know you desire, is that you guys didn't talk about when she goes to the liquor store, which is a really good scene.
Oh, we did. Yeah. So, thanks for the help, Goober. Oh, my name's Gary, like G Uber, but someone in the back wrote an extra O because they're an asshole.
You more than made up for it with the quote.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I'm glad that Zoom is working well this time because every time I try to do a quote on my last episode on your show,
it like freezes.
Yeah. I tried to do the Jeff Goldblum impression from Jurassic Park, and it's like, excuse me, that.
Sorry, I save all of my internet bandwidth for Michael's impressions.
Yeah, poor James is like,
you kind of have to, because I'll do the entire scene. I don't just do one person; I do every character.
To be fair, I've listened to that clip so much of you doing the Titanic impressions. It makes me smile so much every time I'm like, "This is genius.
Michael,
you gonna cut her meat for their cow?"
Yeah.
Hey,
Michael,
the name Titanic. Was it you, Bruce? Well, yes, actually. I want to convey sheer size. And size means stability, luxury, and above all, strength. Yeah.
I went, dude, Michael, we need to hang out, dude, because that is fucking how I talk all the time.
I will literally try to incorporate quotes into my everyday life, and people are just like, sometimes people get it, I love it when people get my references. Like the other night when I was I think I was telling you guys off camera, like I was walking out of work and I had a bunch of papers in my hand. And I did the whole like Regina George in the hallway when she has all the papers that she printed out from the burn book and she's like slapping them everywhere. Like I was literally doing that as we were walking out the other night. I was like slapping paper on the wall and then I threw the rest of them up in the air. And like a couple of my coworkers were dying because they knew the reference. Other people were like, what the fuck is he doing? But other people, I think at this point just think like, oh, he's just being Michael. Like this is just how he is. I think people have just gotten used to me being super extra and all over the That's what I like to say. I'm just extra. It's fine.
I made James start off our Young Frankenstein episode by acting out a quote scene with me because I said, "Welcome, James, from I Was a Teenage Film Snob," and then I go, "And James, I just have to say, damn your eyes." And I made James go, "Too late."
Yeah.
Can we do that from now on? Every time we have each other on a show, can we start it off with like a scene like a scene reading where we just pick a scene and we all just act it out.
Dibs on doing Princess Bride on Midnight Terrors.
Okay.
You know, the classic horror film Princess Bride.
Let's do it. We go. We'll just cast all the roles and everybody can pick who they want to be. And we'll all just to the audience later, as you wish.
I'm going to throw my wife under the bus here because something happened last night and directly relates to Princess Bride, but it was so funny. We were watching Whose Line Is It Anyway, which is a great show.
I love that show. Yeah.
And Cedric the Entertainer was on, and my wife was like, "Oh, that's who Cedric the Entertainer was. I thought it was someone else." I'm like, "Who?" And she's like, "Oh, I can't remember his name, but I thought it was someone else. He's really tall and he has hair like this." I'm like, I need more. And she says, she's in Princess Bride. And I was like, "Are you talking about Andre the Giant?" And that's exactly who she was talking about.
Oh my God.
Oh, so good.
Never before has Cedric the Entertainer be confused with Andre the Giant.
That's
Michael,
hilarious.
are you pro Princess Bride? Are you a fan of that movie?
I have not seen it in like forever though. It's been so long. I would say probably over 10 years. I know I'm going to probably get a lot of flack for saying that on a show about movies that we love, classic movies, but I'm like, I just haven't seen that movie in a long time, but I do like it.
I only watched it for the first time in the last 10 years, and I immediately fell in love with it. I was like, "Oh, I get it."
Have you done that as an episode on your show, James?
Well, that's something I want to talk to you guys about because I don't do the kind of solo movie focuses. So Princess Bride has definitely come up, but I always do lists. But you guys, well, Michael is now doing a bit of both. He does lists and he does solo focuses. But what was the motivation or the idea behind, hey, I just want to talk about one movie per episode? Like, what was? I'm just fascinated by it because it's something that I've ever really thought of doing.
I think it's fun to do that because I'm glad we got back onto the podcast subject because we've been off that for like the last 45 minutes.
I don't
People,
care.
listeners that are probably listeners are probably
been recording for almost 3 hours. Yeah,
I know. Like I like getting to specifically with like movies that I'm really passionate about, like horror films. Like I really love talking about like even like the little things that matter. Like I love getting into like the nitty gritty of like these movies and talking about why they mean so much to me. So like for me, that was like, and I don't know, I just love talking movies. And like, I think as a selfish part of me, I always wanted to do like just the one movie thing so I could do my quotes that I usually do when I do my show. I've been told I'm very good at impressions. So
you are.
I'm like,
you're great.
Thank you.
Dude, James, me and Michael are like the same person. I swear to God.
We are.
Yeah.
like when I don't know if you guys have listened to my Halloween episode with Robbie from Robbie Horror, but he was like dying because I was doing like all of like, he said I nailed Annie, like Laurie's friend, when she's like, "Linda, Laurie, why didn't you wait for me?" Like he's like, you literally sound like, he's like, your inflections are on point. Your fucking like pauses in between when they say stuff is perfect. Like everything about like what you're saying is like literally on the money. And I'm like, I don't know, maybe if they redo the 1978 John Carpenter again, they can cast me as all three of the characters. Because
I am not blessed with the ability to do impressions. I can stumble my way through a Tom Hardy Bane, and I can kind of do a Hugh Grant, and that's about it. Because Hugh Grant used to be nervous. You don't even have to say anything. You just go, terribly. So, like that's Hugh Grant, like down to a T.
Terribly sorry.
Yeah. Harry Potter. Like that's his love, actually.
I can usually do impressions if there's not like an accent in there.
I feel like that's the only way to get through it is like if I'm trying to do like a neutral accent, I've got no chance. But like if I'm just like, what a lovely singing voice, like you can kind of talk your way through it.
Well,
there's 3 accents that I've completely nailed, and I can pretty much do a Canadian accent, a Minnesotan accent, which is basically the same as Canada, and then a freaking New Jersey accent. Like those are the 3 accents that I like.
Your Jersey accent is incredible.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, isn't Minnesota and Canadians just ending on a question, right? Like, oh yeah, like you just kind of.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you
I was
Canadian?
Just trying to channel Francis McDormand from. Fargo.
Oh, are you Canadian? Oh,
yeah.
You should come down and we'll make you some maple syrup pancakes.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? Or when they say sorry, they say sorry.
Sorry.
Like, sorry. Yeah. We're not making fun of any Canadians on the show. I love Canadian accents. I'm doing it as a term of endearment. Like,
well, can we...
I feel like some people get sensitive. They're like, "Oh, now you're making fun of me." Like, I'm like, "No, I'm not."
Well, I don't have any Canadian followers, to the best of my understanding. So, I do have one actually, and she's lovely.
Our Life in Horror. Oh, do they not follow you?
They might follow me. I follow them. I've actually never listened to their show, Startling Admission. But I love all their appearances on your show. I do have them on my app. I just haven't got around to it yet. But no, I don't know if you guys know Kiara Horror. She's a Canadian. She has some great posts. She collects physical media and toys and stuff like that. So, and she's really lovely. But
yeah,
I was gonna say earlier when James, when you do listen to our Brotherhood of the Wolf episode, you can listen to all 4 of us absolutely butcher French pronunciations. And there's a part at the beginning where Jason was trying to do a French impersonation.
That's one impersonation I cannot do. So,
well there's different kinds of French because there's French Canadian, and then there's like more Parisian, which is more like
that was good.
That was good.
That's where I stopped though, like French Canadian.
Yeah.
Or I don't know what a more French one would be like. I'm not going to try.
When Jason tried to do a French accent, I'm almost positive what he ended up doing on the show was a German accent. He's like, Vele du de Brotherhood, like Brotherhood of the Wolf. Sounds like Jason, no.
I'm pretty good at a Swedish accent too, actually.
Are you?
He says, what's the one thing that my sister and I used to say? Oh, fuck. There was something we would say all the time. It's cold as a nun's nasty in here. Like we would just say weird shit and like
for a second,
Swedish
Michael,
accent.
I thought you were about to go like Jar Jar Binks for a second.
No, that's more like this. That's like more. I don't know. It's like something more raspy, I guess. But
I suck at Scottish and Irish accents, but the one thing I can do with a Scottish accent, and my mom even, because we have Scottish lineage, and the one line I can say, hell yeah, the one line I can say from internet high five. The one line I can say was from like either Braveheart or the spinoff, and I did it, and she was like, "That's impressive," which was Robert the Bruce.
Pretty good.
Scottish is difficult, and there's a couple of different regions. Like Edinburgh is a lot more kind of posh and area, so it's like Edinburgh, and that's a bit more. And that's a bit more like Professor McGonagall, which is like, why is it always you 3? But then Glasgow is a lot weighty. Like, so I went to Scotland on my honeymoon, and one of my favorite things that happened is I got into a tour bus in Glasgow, and then she goes, "Go on, have a wee map," and I was like, "That's my favorite thing ever."
When I went on a tour in Europe towards the end of high school, our tour guide was Irish. It was like a private trip that one of my favorite teachers did. And our tour guide was Irish, and he was showing us around everywhere. And some of the girls on the trip thought it'd be funny to like make a joke in an Irish accent. And they walk up to him and they go, he's sitting at a pub with a giant ass beer, and they go, "They're after me Lucky Charms." And he just looks back and goes, "You don't know the half of it, girlfriend."
They trying to catch me pot of gold. Oh,
That's so
Jesus.
good.
You don't know the half of it.
That's a water response.
Oh my gosh. That's great.
I have no idea what we're talking about.
3 hours.
Well, I was
of
gonna
what goes
say-
into a podcast, right?
I know. The 3 hours of Whose Line Is It Anyway podcast edition. Seriously.
I for my 50th episode, which is a 2-part, 5.5 hours. Crazy.
Jeez.
Jeez.
Crazy.
I wanted to introduce
I'm
everyone.
the workhorse,
Sorry?
and I'm the workhorse.
Oh, like there's very little. Like, look, listen to the episode. We're all very tired. Like, about the halfway point, we sound very tired, and then at the end of the second part, we sound very tired. We recorded it over months. Like, we're just like, oh my god. But I wanted to introduce everyone whose line is it anyway style, like with like the little joke, like the way they do it on the show. But I don't know. I struggle to commit to bits on my podcast. I'm always like, the only bit that I've committed to is every episode must be named after a movie and should be vaguely a pun. And that's about the only bit I follow.
Well, I think because I realized just now I didn't even answer your question earlier about what's the inspiration for going specific movie picks on our episodes.
Yeah. Oh, you said I'm exactly like Michael. I thought that was your answer.
Yeah. I mean,
I was like,
in a
oh, you're
sense,
saving the good stuff for your show. I see.
yeah, I mean, in a sense, Michael hit the nail on the head. I think that while keeping it broad is fun, sometimes there's a lot to dive into with a movie that you want to make it so you're not brushing over all the good stuff. Case in point, Young Frankenstein has like 50 million lines that I want to throw some love to. House of a Thousand Corpses, same thing. And sometimes, depending on the movie, there's a lot of layers to it. Side note, I have this really weird inflection where I always want to say layers because of Shrek.
Onions have
Like,
layers. Ogres have layers. Like,
I always
out of my
I won't do an impression of Donkey.
Get out of my swamp.
in the morning you're making waffles, James.
Yeah, they're brown. They smell bad. You leave them in the sun, they grow little hairs on them.
Oh, I like that. I like that boulder. That's a nice boulder.
That is a nice
I
boulder.
was
Okay,
just,
I guess I have
I
to
was
do an
just
impression.
talking about that with someone the other day where I was like, anytime someone says that's a nice something, that's immediately what I say. Like, so someone's like, oh, that's a nice podcast episode. I like that podcast episode. That is a nice
podcast episode. I think my favorite thing from Shrek, and I don't hear anyone talk about this, but the part that, like, when I was a kid watching Shrek, the part that would send me into hysterical laughter. I'm not just talking like normal laughter, like hysterical laughter where I would laugh for like 5 minutes straight, is the part where Fiona is singing to the bird and the bird blows up because
yes.
And I'm like, that part, and even as an adult, as a 30-year-old fucking adult, that scene still fucking makes me laugh. Like, that's so funny to me. It's just like, it makes me laugh so hard.
It's even funnier because they make a balloon sound happen when it blows up. When it starts to inflate.
Yeah.
But anyway, I derailed us yet again. I'm sorry.
No, this is my face is on fire from laughing. Like the muscles in my face are so taut and stretched.
Same.
I know this is our weekly. This should be like our weekly therapy session. We just get together and we talk for like 2 hours, and then we're like, "I'm happy. I have my serotonin for the rest of the week." Thank you,
because
guys.
I guarantee you, this should be the best episode that I've recorded. But people are gonna be like, I can't tell you what it was about.
I can't tell you what they talked about for the last 3 hours.
They're like, I know the episode says something about what goes into podcasting, and then they just talk about random shit for 3 hours. It's like again, derailment, but Finding Nemo, where the little turtle's trying to like give them the instructions of getting off of the
I just imagine the same person who criticized you for Karen Gillan is gonna just write a review of my podcast. 1 star. The ship has lost its captain.
Well, then, like, I imagine it's just like, little Squirt when he's trying to give them instructions on how to get off of the Australian like current.
Yeah.
And Marlon just stares at him and goes, "It's like he's trying to speak to me. I know it."
Yeah.
It's like they're trying to talk about podcasting. I know it.
We're like speaking.
I would like to, 2.5 hours ago when we started, I said we probably won't talk about movies. Well, that was a lie.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but you know what, man? I think that what's important about doing a podcast, again, like we've said over and over and over again, is just like be yourself. You know, like even if you have what could be viewed as if you have a topic, never view your topic or the banner of your podcast as like a constraint or a restriction.
Absolutely.
You know, like, so we're all about movies, and then me and Michael are all about the culture of horror. But it's important to know we don't just sit around and talk. Like when Michael did his, you know, top 5 favorite movies on your show, James, it wasn't all horror movies.
No, and as I said, like the whole point of this was it's a talk show. Like, that was the goal from the get go. Like the reason why I don't do specific movies is because not everyone in my circle can or wants to do that. Like not everyone can sit down for an hour and break down, or you know, if it's We Love Horror, 2.5 hours and talk about a movie. Like that's not a criticism. That is pure joy. I love.
No, I always tell people before they get into my podcast, I'm like, it's very rare to find a podcast episode that's not under 2 hours. So just I'm like, I always warn people beforehand. I'm like, I think my longest episode caps at almost 3 hours and like something minutes. But
but yeah, like my whole thing was like, I know that some people won't be able to or won't want to talk about movies that long. But if I'm like, let's do a list, we can just kind of pull some greatest hits. We can do some quotes. We can like reference the cool moments and move on, that sort of thing. But my whole thing was like, I just want to get the people that I like to talk. Like, and like for me, it's like, and this is gonna sound braggy, but for me, it's like I just want to showcase the interesting people in my life. Like I know that person's funny. I know they're interesting, and more people should hear them. Like so, that was kind of it for me. And then I get to talk to them, and then I learned about people. You know, like my friend Maddie. I say my friend, like she's my wife's friend, Maddie. I knew she was fun and clever and stuff like that, but I had no idea how into movies she was. And she's like one of my favorite guests because she's the only one who plans. She'll do like a vision board before every episode.
I love that.
Yeah,
a vision board.
And even I mentioned before, Liz, like my sister-in-law. Like I never, I've always, always liked her, like who's been friendly and stuff like that. Never imagined like the amount of content she'd be able to put out. And I was like, people will find you interesting, but I didn't realize how much she had to bring to the table. So that's the joy of it for me, is like this is really just a chance to showcase interesting people, and then getting you guys on. First of all, solo is one thing, but to get us on together is a dream. Like, look at how much we've talked. Like, we've talked about everything and nothing. Like
a dream for us, a nightmare for others.
But it's just like kind of showcasing. Like for me, it was cool because I've only known you as horror podcasters, and I know you guys don't just watch horror films. No one just watches one thing. But like to get you guys on here and like hear you talk, so poetically and beautifully about the things that you love outside of that horror, while still kind of keeping in touch with your horror roots. Like that's the fun of it for me, is like we can go really specific if we need to. And my longer episodes are with people who do tend to get a bit more specific, that or they just get wildly off track, which is what I like doing as well. But I was very fascinated by the whole, hey, let's talk about a specific movie, because I just know in my mind I wouldn't be able to do that. I'm like, I can't just plan for one movie for 2 hours. I wouldn't be able to do it. But so I'm always very impressed when I listen to your shows that you guys are consistently doing it as well. Like every episode you're doing it, and like there's not a miss in my book. Every time I listen to your episode, I'm like, yep, that's another gold star for We Love Horror, another gold star for Midnight Terrors. It's great.
That's another shrimp on the bobby.
How dare you? We were just getting along so well. We don't even call them shrimp here.
He's like, I fucking love it, mate.
Dingo baby.
I'm so glad Michael jumped in on that too.
Well, I think that's one of the first things I said to James, and then as soon as I said that, I said, I hope that wasn't offensive. And James was like, no. I think he had the same reaction he did to now. He was like laughing so hard, but I was like, I feel like I offended him. Oh no.
It's very hard to offend me. Well, like the other when I was on Midnight Terrors, which is I don't know when the episode's airing, I guess in the next week or so. We did the whole bit about damn your eyes, and then Kevin was like, oh my God, I didn't even realize you're wearing glasses. I'm like, was that really offensive? And I was like, oh no, like they're not real. They're blue light glasses. My vision, I got 40/40 vision. My vision is perfect.
So is mine.
Yes.
Only one in my family to have it too. Everyone else in my family has to wear glasses, and I'm like.
We used to play this game when I worked selling DVDs, where they would hold a DVD cover spine up on one side of the store and get me to try and read what it was from the other side of the store. Yeah. And I don't want to brag, pretty good result there. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. In my case,
this is the part of the show where we brag about our vision.
In my case, like vision's good, but I would be like, way to erode my self-confidence, guys.
I'm sure you've got really good hearing.
You must be good in other things.
Your
I can
sense
stick
of
my whole
smell
fist
is
in my
probably
mouth.
pretty
Want to
good.
see? No, that's
Not-
okay. Well, I
Not
kind of have like a fifth sense. My breasts can always tell when it's raining. Well, they can tell when it's raining or when it's gonna rain. Tell me if you guys got the quote. Please tell me you did.
There's at least a
Okay.
60% chance it's already raining.
It's already raining. Yeah. Well, there must be something else you're good at, Kevin.
oh my god, I just got what that was.
Yeah,
Kevin just
Michael
thought I
was
was going
grabbing
off
our
the tangent.
chests for
I thought Michael was like genuinely trying to build me up.
There must be
Michael, do you
something
want to
you're
say
good
what
at.
the reference was for people listening?
Oh, it's a Mean Girls reference. Yeah.
That was
Okay,
Amanda Seyfried.
I got a mix of Mean Girls, and I also got a mix of The Happening.
The Happening? What happens in The Happening where someone's like, I can always...
Some of your delivered... No, not about the breast thing, but when James was like, all right, there's like a 62% chance it's already raining. I was thinking of John Leguizamo from The Happening, where he's like, all right, there's like a 60% chance this isn't going to happen to us.
Yeah. God.
And then, great dialogue with a plastic tree, like, we're just here to use the bathroom, and then we're just going to leave. I hope that's okay.
No, when she's like, are you planning on stealing from me? No.
What? No.
What?
Say hello to your mother phone.
What?
That's Andy Samberg as Mark Wahlberg.
That old lady has like my favorite. Betty Buckley has like my favorite line in The Happening, which is, "Why you eyeing my lemon drink?"
You planning on stealing from me, killing me? Does she say like murdering me in my sleep or something? And he's like, "Oh my god, no!
What? No."
Love Mark Wahlberg, dude.
I have opinions.
The Happening is like the best bad movie ever.
I have opinions about him. I think he's problematic because of shit he did in his past, but it's fine.
Sure.
No, it's not fine, but like, yeah, I don't know. Mark Wahlberg's another person that kind of gives me the ick, especially after knowing that he has a very racist and homophobic past. I'm like,
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, no, strictly as an actor. Like, when he's with his character stuff, maybe not as a person.
Well, maybe he's changed. I don't know. I'm not a big Mark Wahlberg person, but maybe he's changed. Like
we can safely talk about Donnie. We can talk about
yeah.
Call me Donnie. Do you remember? That was a Morats quote. Sorry.
Oh Jesus! Hey, I want someone listening to this episode to like write down every fucking reference that we've made throughout this 3 hours. We will give you like a care package of like merch and autographs and stuff from our show.
Okay, so someone who doesn't sell merch yet, don't promise that, Kevin. Like it's expensive.
Yeah.
There is merch coming, all right? It'll just take a few weeks.
I always want to do a competition on my Instagram and be like, who can tell me every reference of every episode? Because there's only like 3 or 4 episodes that aren't movie references at all. I'm like, who can name them all? Because there's a couple of like really curly ones in there, but. Yeah. And then I'm like, what am I going to do? Like, they're probably not going to do it. And then what? I'm going to give them a prize? Okay.
You'll get a personal Skype call with James from I Was a Teenage Film Snob.
I mean, it's not even that hard to secure.
Like... I would take it. That would be fucking dope. I'd take it. Right? I am going to run to the restroom real quick because I have to pee real bad.
Yeah, so let's pause this because I need to as well. And it feels like we're not even a quarter of the way through it yet. So.
And then when we get back, we'll get to the questions that your people sent in.
Good idea. We'll pause.
Let's
Alrighty, we just took a quick break because we have been going for almost 3 hours at this point.
We
talked for an hour before we started recording, so it's been 4 hours. A quarter of our day has been used up.
I just texted my friend when we were waiting to come back. I was like, it might be closer to 8 p.m. before I come over tonight because it was supposed to be. I was anticipating it was going to be 7 because I was like, okay, we'll start recording at probably like 3:30. That'll give us like almost like 3 hours. I'm like, no. No, I should always anticipate that it's going to take like 6 hours every time I'm on with you guys because we just sit there and just cut the shit all the time. Like, it's great.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I think it was just 2 of us. Like a 3-hour window is good, but like we're adding the element of the third, which we've never done before, and like we're all talkers. So
And the one that got added to you two never shuts the fuck up. So now it's,
Oh no, that is applicable to all of us.
I
Like
think you
whenever,
could be. Yeah, I think that's a very synonymous
rotating.
term.
yeah,
for like
it doesn't
all three of
matter
us.
who the original two are. The third is going to blow that out. Because I remember when I came onto Michael's show for the first time, like, you've listened to my episodes, right? Like, I talk a lot, so I don't know how long this normally goes, but it could go for a while. And he goes, "Oh no, mine are long too." And then when I came onto yours, and then I really warned you and Jason, because I was like, because just like you, Michael, Kevin was like, "Oh, we can just record both episodes in the same day." I was like, "No, we can't. No, we can't." Like,
No.
Michael and I thought we could as well, and we got one
That's a
episode
little
done.
ambitious there, buddy.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, if you want to be completely wore out for the next 12 hours, yeah, sure. Not like
and
afterward.
like
I meant
if it's on a week
afterward.
where I'm doing a few recordings, like I just lose my voice. It's
let's talk
Yeah.
about with the audience just how hard our lives are doing a podcast where we have to talk all day.
I know. God. Like, I'm gonna have no voice for the next like week after the Taylor Swift concert, because I'm just gonna be like,
Dude,
like I told people that I would send them videos and pictures, but I said the videos, I don't know how good the videos are gonna be, because it's probably just gonna be me going, "Oh my God."
yeah, one of my one of my worst habits is I sometimes take videos at shows, and sometimes I'll hold the phone too close to my head. So like, people be like, "Check out this video performance," and then Kevin's over there. Like, I just recently saw Ed Sheeran.
Nice.
And I'm in love with the shape of you.
Yeah. It's gonna be me. I'm gonna be like, "I know you were trouble when you walked out."
I don't know why, but I was like, "I'm feeling 22." Like,
Oh, that too. Yeah.
These are all like hardcore versions of Taylor Swift songs.
Yeah. It's gonna be
Shake
nice.
it up. Shake it up.
Shake it up.
I mean, there is
Oh,
I was gonna
Jesus.
say, James, earlier when you were talking about your wife liking the heavier stuff, when we were talking about Taylor Swift, you could always play her the I Prevail cover of Blank Space.
There you go.
oh, she likes she probably likes Taylor Swift more than I do, and that's not being like, "Oh, I don't like Taylor Swift." Like, I was very open at the start, like, and like I text Michael all the time, like, "Oh, I listen to this song. I like this Taylor Swift song now as well." So,
And he likes a lot of like the underrated ones. Like when you said you like Stay, 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 that made me so fucking happy. I was like, "Are you kidding me?
that song
is
makes
so
me very
underrated."
happy. I love the. I don't
Yeah.
know what it is, whether she's using like a xylophone or something, but just magic. Like, I think it's impossible to be sad listening to that song. Although the other day,
like, did we just become best friends?
yeah,
Yeah. I was like, did I just turn you into a Swiftie, James?
I was
My
driving with
mission
my
to
daughter,
corrupt
and
the entire population. That's my mission. My motto is: you're too old. Your life's too short to admit you don't like Taylor Swift. Just saying.
That needs to be a feature shirt for We Love Horror.
You seriously.
we were driving the other day. I had my daughter in the car, and I've got a playlist for her. Like, and it's literally Paramore, Taylor Swift, and then a couple of hardcore songs. Like, she's like, Story of the Year, Trivium. There are a couple of songs she likes.
Yeah.
But I put Stay, Stay, Stay came on, and she goes, "Oh, not this one." I'm like, "I thought you liked this one." And she goes, "I do. It's a bit boring." And I was like, she's not even 3, and she's. I was like,
She's
"We have
already a
positive about
critic.
things."
Michael's got
She's
some
already a
fighting
Taylor
words.
Swift critic. Yeah.
It's a bit boring. I was like, "That's genius."
She's gonna have a podcast one day. I can see it.
Oh, as
Yeah.
soon as she's old enough, like, she's coming on the show. Like,
Oh, that would be amazing.
I've thought about doing it previously, but I'm just like, like, we're very we don't like you putting her on social media and stuff like that.
Sure.
Like, that's one. Like, we're not very strict people. Like, you probably gathered by now, pretty laid back. But one thing we don't want to do is put her on social media, because I'm like, oh, I could probably get like 1,000 hits easy if I just put up a video of my daughter singing like
If
a
I
Taylor Swift song.
extort my child, I'll
Yeah.
get money and views from it.
I
It says
said to
every
my wife, I'm
fucking
like,
family vlog channel in the
I was
entire
like, "Do we
fucking
care that
YouTube
much? Because we
thing.
could be rich." I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's like what-
Jason's had both of his little 7-year-old girls come on our show in the first year, only for a second though.
Yeah.
But he always tells them what to say, and he brought. So my 2 nieces are Eloise or Ellie, and then Desi, and he brought Ellie on, and he told her to say something, and she came on, and Jason's like, "We have an important message here from Midnight Terrors," and Ellie comes on and goes, "I just want to say that The Thing is the best movie ever." And And then after that, he brought Desi on, and he was trying to tell her to say the same thing, but with Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight. And,
That's funny.
and he brought her on, and Desi goes, well, this is Desi, and I have sweet tarts. And Jason just goes, okay. And I said, I was like, future sponsor of Midnight Terrors, Sweet Tarts.
Yeah.
And then she goes, I just want to say that the best movie ever is, what is it again? And we all just busted up laughing.
That's so funny.
And then I'm like, you blew the bit, Desi. And she just made this noise.
That's funnier though. That's way more entertaining. Like if she,
I love
and
that.
especially because the other sister did it so well, so it's like that's perfect. Like,
well, then Jason goes, Demon Knight, best movie ever. Now get out of here.
Get out of here, squirt.
You're ruining the show.
He said it lovingly, but they actually, when he said that, Desi goes, why? Like she wanted to stay. They love watching their dad podcast, which I think is very cool.
I love that.
Except when they listen to it in the car with him, they call us out for using bad words.
Oh, they're like, swear jar, put a quarter in the swear jar.
Yeah, the show New Girl introduced me to the swear jar concept.
These are my kids, step kids. What do you guys do up to? Going to the snack bar? All right, well, let me know if you need to ride home later. Fuck off, Helen. Put a quarter in the swear jar. Cute kids. Do you know what movie I'm referencing?
I know the quote, but I've forgotten the movie.
It's Bridesmaids. It's when
yep.
It's when Helen and Annie are having lunch after their little tennis match thing, and the two kids come up and they're she's like, just let me know if you need to ride home later. Fuck off, Helen.
Bridesmaids is a film that I'm not a huge fan of. I don't mind it, but I think it's a very overrated film. Bridesmaids. I know.
Oh shit.
I know. We've
Mic
lost
drop.
it.
He does not like it either, so.
It does have a couple of really good moments. I love obviously when Kristen Wiig is swearing in the jewelry store. Like that's obviously a great moment.
Have you seen the 10-minute version of that where her and that girl are just going back and forth at each other? Like it's like I think it's like a special feature or deleted scene.
It's like Linerama or something. They do that kind of thing.
Her and that girl keep going and going and going, and it's so fucking funny.
I gotta watch it.
But you are, there's one part where she's like, you are a twatty little shit-faced fucker. You're not as popular as you think you are. Oh, I'm very popular. Oh, I'm sure you are. Well, you're an old single loser who has no friends. You're a little cunt.
That's the moment. That was probably the biggest laugh in that movie for me. But another moment that I think is really underrated is when Ellie Kemper is talking to.
I fucking love Ellie Kemper.
She's brilliant. I can't. Wendy McClovey, she's the mum from Goldbergs. And she's like, "You're so beautiful. You're so pretty. You could be a princess." Like that to me is so funny.
I'm a beautiful something princess. You smell like pine needles and you have a face like sunshine. Yeah. Oh, Jesus. And then the part where they're all gathered around the table when Lillian goes to the restroom and they're like talking about Bridesmaids ideas, and she's just like, "Ooh, what about a Pixar theme shower? We all come dressed as our favorite Pixar characters." And then she's like, Megan's like that, and I'm gonna snowball on top of that. Fight Club, female Fight Club. We grease up, we roll out. Lillian doesn't know. Surprise, we're gonna fight. We beat the shit out of her.
Oh my goodness!
And I also love
it. You're definitely turning me around on it.
The one from the Goldblum's show or whatever, the blonde one, that when she's like on the phone with Annie and she's like, "Hey, hold on a second. Shut your filthy fucking mouths," to her children. And she's like, "I'm surrounded by savages." Jesus, that movie is so good.
Off the rails. I love it.
There's a colonial woman sitting on the wing of the plane. She is churning butter. There's something they're not telling us. Ma'am, I'm going to have you return to your seat, please. We're still ascending, ma'am.
I do love Kristen Wiig, though.
Ah, so good.
And hot take, I am a fan and a defender of the female Ghostbusters movie. I think it is. I think it is severely unfairly hated on.
Because there's women in it. That's probably why.
Yeah. And like, that movie's great. I love it. And one of my favorite moments is Kristen Wiig, Melissa McCarthy, and Kate McKinnon early on when they're trying to convince Kristen Wiig that they should hunt ghosts because they're like, we got an EVP. We got an EVP. And she's like, okay, whatever. And they make her listen to it. And there's like ghostly moans. And she's like, oh, what is this? And then you hear like a fart noise. And then she's like, haha, very funny. Kate McKinnon comes in with, what's funnier is it came from the front.
Oh God.
I gotta rewatch that one as well. I didn't hate the Ghostbusters remake. I just found it. I was like, it's fine. Like, it didn't do it. It wasn't very memorable for me, but it wasn't because they were women. I was like, great. Like, let's get some more women in this. It was just, I just felt, yeah. But I also watched it on a plane, which is of course not the best way to watch it. But I wasn't like, no one asked for this. We talked about this an episode or two ago. We're talking about the Ghostbusters remake a little bit. So, but there was no hate for it. We're just kind of like, like it just wasn't really our cup of tea.
Yeah, I fucking love Bridesmaids. James, you need to give that Bridesmaids more appreciation.
I've seen it a couple of times, but the first time I watched I was in my early 20s. The next time I watched I was kind of in my mid 20s. So it's time to watch it. That was in the height of my snobbery, as I've talked to you guys about, and on the show as well. Like, I had a real change of heart because I got to a point in my early 30s where I'm like, I hate 75% of movies I'm watching. Clearly, they're not all bad. I must be the problem. So I had to change my attitude. So I'll probably go back and love Bridesmaids next time.
Like Beetlejuice over there. He's like, I've seen Bridesmaids about 167 times, and it keeps getting funnier every single time I see it.
It does, yeah. Like, and I'm really good at impersonating the cop in that movie. You know how he has like a weird like accent where he's like, so you know how
Chris O'Dowd from the IT Crowd?
I don't know. I don't know. But he's like, to drive by here night by night with your fucking taillight still broken. Yeah. You know how angry that makes me. It's a simple solution. Your problem, Annie, is that you don't realize you can hurt people.
That are so inconsistent.
Yeah. Just watch Lethal Weapon. Mel Gibson cannot rock an American accent to save himself.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like Kate Winslet does the same thing in Titanic too, where she like comes for like it's like a British accent, and all of a sudden it's like I don't know. She does it too.
Michael, I was gonna say earlier, you did some impression. I think it was when you were talking about how you and your sister talk to each other, and you answered when you were answering the phone, and you had that real like grunty voice. I swear to
hello?
God. And you kept going off. I swear to God, I thought you were doing Howard's mom from The Big Bang Theory.
Oh, I've never watched that show. I don't like that show. I might be one of the only people in history that thinks that show is one, unfunny, and two, really fucking annoying. So
I don't like it either.
I'm a Big Bang Theory fan, but the mom's voice always like, Howard, can you give me a hand over here?
I enjoyed it the first time I watched it, but then I remember I watched an interview with the writers, and the guy was like, we don't know anything about comic books or science, so we were just like, hey, we need to talk about the insert science reference here, and don't forget to watch insert comic book reference here. I was like, oh, so you're lazy. That's what, okay.
Yeah.
Like, that bummed me out. Like, I was like, oh, like there are people who probably very talented writers who could make those references instead of It's very.
I like Big Bang Theory though. It's a dumb show, but I like it a lot.
There are bits I've seen that I've enjoyed. But I think I watched the first couple of seasons. But that I don't know why that really turned me off. I was just like, oh, okay.
You're not the first person I've heard say that, honestly.
I just don't think it's funny, and I kind of think Sheldon's annoying, and I always have. Like, I'm not a Sheldon hater, but I'm just like, I think he's fucking annoying. I don't know how
I quite like Kelly Cuoco. I think she's great.
Yeah.
You don't go to people and say, "That's my spot."
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, did you get my smokes? Get my smokes. Yeah,
James, we will answer these questions in impressions only. All right.
I only received 2, and they're not about podcasting. So.
They're not even about podcasting.
No, they were just. But they knew.
Well, isn't that the irony of this episode? None of this episode has really been about podcasting. Sorry, guys.
They knew how it was going to go before we even hit the record button.
They're going to be like, oh, these motherfuckers. They're like with this clickbait saying that we're going to learn a thing or two about podcasting. They didn't teach us shit.
I know. I messaged someone yesterday because someone had asked me questions. It's like, hey, I'm recording the podcast one tomorrow. So if you have any questions, let me know. They didn't get back to me. And I was like, well, I lied. It's not about podcasting. We talked a bit about it. I think this is better. Yeah. I think this is, I was like, it could be very clinical and boring, but I think this is a very entertaining episode.
I think so
love
too.
it. I think it's great.
Yeah.
Best episode ever.
Best episode ever made between all three of us. Best episode we've ever made. It's going on James' show.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't.
And I'm not even going to share the link.
Yeah, he's not even going to share it with us.
I got 2 horror questions, and I guess because I knew I had 2 horror experts coming on. Although I think I know the answer to the first question.
Yeah, the two horror experts are Michael and Valak.
That's all right. I haven't seen The Nun, so I keep forgetting her name. So I'm like, Michael and who's Valak again? The Nun. It's Michael and the Nun over there. Michael and None Your Business.
That's so funny to me. I don't know why.
Oh, dude,
I know. I rang that one twice. I'm like, I can get more out of this joke.
And you can't because I think everything's funny. So
don't say that because then in contrast, I'm less funny. So
I have
such in pain now from laughing.
I know. Speaking of a show that a lot of people don't get with my humor, have you guys seen Dead to Me? Because that show's one of the best shows.
No, but I want to.
Everybody's telling me I need to see it though.
You need to watch it. It's so good. Also, I will say season 3 fucking destroyed me. I cried for 7 hours after that. So just so you know, it's
box of tissues. Got it.
You're gonna need one for sure.
All right.
You're gonna need probably a therapy session with your therapist afterwards too, because I just was like,
well, you and James are my therapist now, so that's fine.
Yes. Call me, text me, message me after you've watched that, and let me know what you think because it's devastating. But yeah, Dead to Me has some very funny humor that a lot of people don't understand. I watch that with certain people, and they're like, "That wasn't funny." And I'm like, "Get out, leave."
There you go.
She doesn't even go here.
Always comes back to that.
When in doubt, throw in a Mean Girls reference.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I can ask these questions. They're very they're fine, but I think I know the answer to some of the questions already. So someone wanted to know who is the best horror director and why, but I feel like we've covered that pretty extensively already.
Who's the best? I mean, we could go about that another way because we did say that Flanagan was one of our favorites. But
you guys have talked about Flanagan a lot, yeah.
Is he the best horror director? That's where I'm struggling.
That's a hard question for me because I feel like you could say that about every horror director. I mean, at least ones that have made such a big impact. I mean, when you think about the decades and stuff, we always have one or two or a handful of horror movies that defined that decade.
Yeah, definitely.
In the 90s, the later 90s, it was obviously Wes Craven with Scream,
and even before then, Craven's got a really strong track record, but then someone like Tobe Hooper, I know you're not a big Texas Chainsaw fan, but Tobe Hooper's had hit after hit after hit with Life Force and I can only think of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But he's
debatable if we're going to call Life Force a hit, but
I love Life Force. That's what a ridiculous idea. They're space vampires, and she walks around naked the entire time. It's a movie. Mathilda May.
I think for me, I kind of have just a handful of directors that I consider legends, John Carpenter, obviously made my favorite horror movie of all there still will never be another horror movie that will top that one for me personally.
Have you heard of this guy David Gordon Green? He did a really good
he did the really good ones. Yeah, those ones for sure.
I like those movies.
Yeah. Well, you get Ari Aster,
of course.
Great. I mean, Wes Craven, Mike Flanagan. I just feel like it's hard to say which one is my favorite horror director. I mean, and if I'm talking about right now in this point in time, it's definitely Mike Flanagan. So I guess to answer your question in short, Mike Flanagan, but to answer it in the long way, like we always do, because we like to answer questions the roundabout way. I would say there's so many directors, it's hard to choose.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought up Ari Aster, which I'm sure we would have brought up anyway. I quite like Alexandre Aja as well. He did the Hills Have Eyes remake and the Piranha remake. He did Horns, Crawl, which is
the Mirrors remake as well.
I haven't seen Mirrors.
P2, which I think
is P2 is great.
P2 is so good. It doesn't get talked about at all enough.
But then also and I will let you talk as well, Kev. But then do you go What about someone like David Fincher, who did Seven, which, is maybe not a traditional horror film, or Jonathan Demme, who did Silence of the Lambs, or, Rob Reiner, who only does comedies, but he did Misery, which is brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so many like directors out there, and I'm also glad that like so many female directors are starting to come to the forefront, because we get like Chloe Okono, who directed one of my favorite probably most watched film of 2022, which was Watcher, because I fucking love that movie.
Yeah, I still haven't seen it, but you keep telling me about it.
It's good. You need to watch it.
Is it a Netflix one? Is that?
Yeah, I think it's on Shudder. Actually, you can watch it on Shudder if you have that.
We do have it. We do have that in Australia. So
wow,
I know.
Wow,
can you believe it? We actually got something.
Oh my goodness!
You guys are
fed. You guys have been fed.
I'll tell you what, we're spoiled down here. We only just got Pearl on Blu-ray about a month ago. And X never got a Blu-ray release. So,
speaking of other directors, Ty West also fucking incredible.
A director that I could not stand in my 20s, but now I'm just like, you're an idiot. His films are so good.
Yeah. Kevin, sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Go on.
No, you're good. So Mike Flanagan would definitely be the top spot for me. I know that this guy isn't full-fledged horror, but I consider him part of the horror community anyway, because so much of his iconography is part of the horror world. Tim Burton.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
And then I'm a big fan nowadays. We talked about the Terrifier movies. Love Damien Leone. I think he's incredibly talented and knows how to do a lot with so little. And I love that that his Terrifier 2 release is paving the way for theaters in Hollywood to go, let's give this indie movie that was crowdfunded a chance to be successful. And I think people overlook how important it is that Terrifier 2 did well, because we all complain that horror is redundant, and then this little indie film comes along that was crowdfunded. Like Terrifier 2's budget was like $250,000. Like it's crazy how cheap it was made for. And then
it was almost the same amount as Halloween was made for back in '78, which is like,
and then to go on.
And for those listening who are like, that's a lot of money. No. Like independent films, most independent films like start $2 million these days. Like indie cinema is expensive. Like very few people are doing the Robert Rodriguez thing where it was $7,000 to make El Mariachi or $28,000 to make Clerks. Like independent cinema is expensive. So to keep it under $1 million, like a quarter, that's considering how much practical effects are in there. Like even, with and we'll talk about it more when we talk about Devil's Rejects, Kev, but like that was meant to be a practical effects film, and like it's too expensive. We're just going to do it digital. Like, Anyway, sorry, you're going to continue about directors.
No, you're good. But yeah, so Damien Leone, fantastic. We just actually talked to this director on my show for episode 50. Chris LaMartina, I think, is doing big things. If anybody has seen the WNUF Halloween special, and it's a sequel, the Out There Halloween Mega Tape. I think those are such clever movies. I would kick myself if I didn't bring up James Wan and how influential that is for my love of horror.
Yep.
I think he's a damn genius. If anyone has not seen Malignant, watch it.
So
it's
good.
Great.
It's a crazy. I can see Michael's expression. It's a crazy film.
No,
that film.
It is.
No, I wanted to say that I don't know how to feel about it because I've seen it once, but I need to watch it again because I didn't get the hate that it got. I didn't understand it. Like I didn't quite know if I liked it when I watched it, but I think I want to watch it again because like what a fucking twist for that movie. And
I
like
love how batshit crazy it is.
Yeah, that whole like police station breakout where she's walking backwards. Like I mean this in the most endearing, positive, like supportive, lovely way possible. This is a compliment. It is so dumb. Like it's
ridiculous. Yeah.
And we need that. We need dumb movies. Like we need people to take a chance on ideas that make no sense. We need people to make if we get one thing from this whole like writer's strike, I hope it's that we see another rise in independent cinema. Like we've kind of seen it post-pandemic where people have been like, you know what? Nothing is permanent. Let's just make weird stuff and the stuff we want to make. So Malignant, I think, is a celebration of that. Like, it's dumb, but in the best possible way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Malignant's a masterpiece. I tell people all the time, go in blind.
Yeah.
I got to throw some love to Tommy Lee Wallace, who's the genius behind the original It.
Yep.
As well as Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, which is a classic. If you don't like Halloween 3, I'm sorry, you're wrong.
Your opinion is not valid here. Sorry.
Yep. And then the last one I can think of, and I love this dude and how much he's doing for horror, but fucking Jordan Peele, man.
Yes.
This dude is a damn genius with the horror movies that he's making. Get Out was very, very good. Love it. One of my favorites. But fucking Us, like, blew
so
my
ambitious.
mind.
And then you fucking get Nope, which is like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Nope was actually one that kind of challenged me because I went in expecting almost like an Us Part 2.
Yeah.
And he went about it differently. And I think he challenged the audience. And there was a lot of people that thought Nope was bad. And there was a lot of people that thought it was great.
Yeah, elephant in the room. I went on Michael's podcast and put in my top 5 worst horror films of the year. But
and you put Nope in there?
But I blamed myself. I didn't blame the film because I had my expectations were great. I haven't gone back to rewatch it, but I've got a Jordan Peele rewatch planned this year. So I'll go back to it. I want to throw in a few more directors. Julia Ducournau, who did Raw, which is brilliant.
Yes.
And then Titane. If you haven't seen Titane, whoa, like what a flick. It's so weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Michael, but the directors, I think they go by what, Radio Silence, that did the new Scream movie?
Yes.
Yeah, Ready or Not.
Ready or Not, yeah.
I think they're insanely talented.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we'd be remiss to not mention David Cronenberg. Like, regardless of what you think of like some of his more recent stuff, like The Fly is flawless.
So good.
And
what about Brian De Palma?
Yes, of course.
Yep. And obviously, the Blair Witch Project director. How can we not mention him?
If you want to know more about him, you should go over to We Love Horror and listen to a very good interview.
Please do.
Oh, thank you.
And then I never hear him talk about this director, but Lucky McKee. I really like him as well. He did Jugface. He did The Woman. All Cheerleaders Die. He's a real independent.
I love All Cheerleaders Die. That's
so
like,
good, right?
Yeah, that's like Mean Girls except like horror edition.
It kind of feels like a little bit Mean Girls, a little bit Jennifer's Body, but like just. Yeah, it's a great high school, it's so good. I just rewatched it recently, and I forgot that the film ends with part 1, and I was like, oh, wait, yeah, that's right. They never made a sequel. Like, damn it, I really like this film. And had
they better at some point.
So good. He does a lot of Jack Ketchum adaptations as well. But Lucky McKee.
I really do enjoy Toby Hooper as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love his weird twist that he put on Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2, and how it became like the Breakfast Club, but with the Leatherface family.
Well, I feel like that's very very influential on the Firefly family and Rob Zombie's flicks. Like, I don't think you get to the Fireflies without Texas Chainsaw 2. Like, I guess Rob Zombie is another one that Kevin and I can mention.
Yeah.
So I guess the answer to this question is all of them.
Everybody.
All of them.
I think every horror director has made us like their mark as far as and it's so funny because you look back at all the decades and like Alfred Hitchcock too. We forgot about him. Like,
of course,
he's not the greatest person as a person, but he's a good director. I don't really care for Alfred Hitchcock outside of his movies, but same with same with the guy who made Rosemary's Baby. I can't think of his name right now, but thank you. Yeah, he's very problematic as well. But like you get like all these people that have like made these influential movies throughout the decades, and it's like there's always one horror movie in a decade that has like revitalized the horror genre. Like for the 70s.
And I know he didn't do like all horror, but Stanley Kubrick, man.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. Don't like him as a person either, but
no, an asshole, but like a phenomenal filmmaker.
Yeah. We would have never gotten The Shining without him.
Yeah, and I guess technically there again, not strictly horror, but like when Steven Spielberg wants to direct something that's kind of scary, he's great at it, and so is Ridley Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
And I guess I don't know if you mentioned him before, Kev, but you mentioned James Wan. Obviously, Lee Winnell, who did a
Yes, I love Lee
lot of
Winnell.
writing for him. He did Dying Breed. He did the Invisible Man remake.
He did Insidious Part 3, and he's written all of them.
Yeah.
I only watched the first Insidious for the first time this year, and I'll tell you what,
Dude,
that
the
flick is
Insidious
scary.
movies get so wacky as they go on. I love it.
I love wacky.
I think the second and third ones are my favorite. I love the second and third ones.
My favorite as well. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah,
there's a director I was going to mention, but Michael has a rule where he doesn't talk about those films on his show, so I won't bring up that director. A certain
Tom
Dutch
Six?
lad. Yeah, Tom Six.
Yeah.
This is the second time I've made Michael almost quit the show.
Just
there we go.
Not
yeah,
into it.
That was a very long answer, but there we got a lot of them.
Yeah.
This is a very broad question, but it's the only other question we've got. So they want to know. It's very broad. Who would you cast in a horror film set in the 80s with all the tropes? Well, I think we've already talked about this offline before, Michael. We would just take all of our modern horror scream queens and put them in a movie together. Anya Taylor-Joy,
Yes.
Thomasin McKenzie, Florence Pugh, Mia Goth.
Sarah Michelle Gellar, Jenna Ortega.
Of course, Jenna Ortega. Like just all the modern scream queens, just whack them into a movie and do it that way.
The question was, who would you cast in a movie set in the 80s, or who would you cast?
So a horror movie set in the 80s.
Okay, gotcha. Ooh,
can I also throw Sophia Bush in there, because she is very underrated. She's only been in a couple of horror films, but I just also have a soft spot for her because
what was she in? I know the name, but I just
she was in Stay Alive. She was October in that movie. She's the gothic girl. And then she plays Grace in the Hitcher remake.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And she's stunning, first of all. I equate Sophia Bush to the most perfect looking woman on the planet. There is no woman that looks perfect like she is. I don't think there's perfect in anything, but she is like as close to a perfect woman as you can get. Like her facial features, she's beautiful. Don't even get me started. I can talk about
she's
her
from One Tree Hill. That's where
from One Tree. Yes.
There we go.
There's
the rub.
Who's my favorite character in One Tree Hill? It could not be Sophia Bush. No. What are you talking about? No.
I would put in there because I think that he is just great in everything, and I think he should have been cast in bigger stuff than he was. Matthew Lillard.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
I think that dude is like one of the nicest human beings on the face of the earth. Like really good actor.
You're saying this because you've met him as well, is that right, Kev?
No, I actually.
Oh, you haven't. I thought he was leading. He's like one of the nicest guys. Consider him a personal friend to the show, actually.
But I also interviewed him. I don't know. I'm just kidding.
I did do a photo op with him, but I did not speak to him. My mom was the one closest to him because it was a photo op with myself, her, Skeet Ulrich, and Matthew Lillard. And I wish, dude. I don't know what I would. I'm like Tyler. I don't know what I would say if I met Nev Campbell. No, she was the one standing closest to Matthew because that's like her dude as well. And Skeet and Matthew told her she was a gangsta because she had just broken her toes and was walking around with a
gangsta. Before I forget, another person that I want to put in a movie, Emma Roberts.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
I love her so much.
Just put that character Jill in another movie.
Yeah, seriously. Can we have like a fucking Jill come back? Can she please come back? Also, one thing that I did not like about Scream 6, and this isn't really a spoiler, but I did not like how they made the mask only one mask, as to assume that Charlie did all the killing in Scream 4 and Jill didn't. That pissed me off because I said I know for a fact Charlie did not do all the killing in Scream 4, and I can tell you why. I got really passionate about that because I'm like, personally, I believe that Jill did a lot of the killing in Scream 4.
I think so too.
You want to ask for my opinion? I'm pretty sure she's the one that killed Jenny in the garage. I'm pretty sure that's Jill because obviously that's personal. Because she was cheating on Trevor was cheating on her with Jenny, so of course she wants to kill Jenny. Pretty sure she killed the two cops outside of her house and her mom because Charlie at the time was still at the Stabathon, I think. And I always tell people this: how would he have had time to drive all the way from the middle of the fucking country, like in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, and get to Jill's house in the time it took for him to you know what I mean? Like it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense. For them So for them to make the presumptuous assumption, I might add, that there was only one mask between the two of them, claiming that there was only one killer in Scream 4. No, not going to happen. Not on my watch. Not on my watch.
Goes off.
Just because you mentioned Scream 4, I would throw in Alison Brie. I think she's great in Scream 4, and she's also really good in The Rental. I don't know if anyone saw The Rental, but that was a great flick as well.
Oh, I didn't like it.
I love when Michael goes
That's
off.
Okay. That's fine. It's not for everyone. I didn't make it, so I'm not offended.
That's true. Yeah, I'm sorry, Radio Silence. Not gonna happen on my watch. You aren't gonna make that assumption.
Dude,
Hayden Panettiere as well. Sorry.
Yes, I was gonna say that.
Yeah.
So the answer to this question is everyone.
Everyone.
All of them.
I was gonna say another person that I honestly don't think was given a fair shot in Hollywood, and I think she's actually great. And Jennifer's Body's a masterpiece. Again, if you don't like it, you're wrong. Megan Fox, dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She's a great, that whole scene when she's about to get murdered by the cult, and she's like that's so riveting. Like her performance in that is so good. And also another person, I'm glad you brought that up, that she didn't get like her, stripes, is Gina Phillips, the one that's in fucking Jeepers Creepers that plays Trish. She is great too. And she has not been in a whole lot since that movie. And I'm like, how the fuck did that not like jumpstart her career? And how is she not like a legendary scream queen at this point? Like, what the fuck, guys? What are you doing?
You know who else I really like? And I'm looking up to make sure I say her name right. Micah Monroe from It Follows.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. Oh, what a great call. Yes,
and Watcher.
Absolutely.
She's also in Watcher.
I think she'd be great. And then there's one more who I think is also super underrated. Did anyone see Lights Out?
No.
Teresa Palmer.
Yes, Teresa Palmer. Dude, yes.
You're gonna give me I love her so much. She is Aussie.
Five, Michael. Internet high five.
Because she's also, in case you guys didn't know, she's also in the Grudge 2 remake. So she plays.
She is.
Vanessa.
I know she's in Warm Bodies, which is an underrated flick.
She plays the bitchy girl. She plays the bitchy schoolgirl in The Grudge 2, Vanessa, and she's also in a really good underrated movie with her in. I can't think of his name right now. He's in that '70s show. He plays Eric, I think.
Oh, Topher Grace.
Topher Grace. She's in a movie called Take Me Home Tonight, and it takes place in the 80s. And she's like the main, she's like the popular girl that he had a crush on in high school. And then they meet up, they start hanging out for like a night, but he lies to her about his job. Like he tells her that he works at, what the fuck is it? He tells her that he works at like some place when he actually works at a video store. He's kind of a loser. And so he lies to her.
That's a great job.
Yeah, he lies to her though and says that he works for Goldman Sachs. That is what he says. He says, "Oh, I work at Goldman Sachs," and she's like, "Oh, that's funny. I didn't know they had an office in L.A." I don't know. It's so fucking great.
I would also take two of my favorite actresses from The Haunting of Hill House, Kate Siegel,
Victoria Pedretti.
Victoria Pedretti. Yep. Yes. And I do love Elizabeth Reeser too. We should put her in there too.
She's the one that plays one of the sisters, right? She's
she's Shirley.
Yeah, I love. Actually, okay, I have to say something about what Haunting of Hill House again. Shirley gets a lot of hate as a character. Like people do not like Shirley. Yeah. Like the general consensus is that people are like, I can't stand Shirley. Shirley is like one of my favorite characters. Like I'm just gonna say it. Like her and oh my gosh. Kate Siegel in that movie, in that show. So good. I love that. I love their little.
So James, no spoilers, but when Shirley has to come to terms, so like in the final episode, everything wraps up. Everybody has a story arc that comes to fruition and is fulfilled.
Yeah.
Michael, when Shirley has to face her past and say certain things to her husband later on, that's the part that makes me almost bawl my eyes out.
That and the part where I don't know why this gets to me, but it's the part where she's leaving the room, leaving the guest house, and she takes the gloves off.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why that makes me emotional, but for some reason it does. I don't know. And then
James, you gotta watch Haunting of Hill House, man.
It's on the list. I need to add to our list of actresses Imogen Poots, who I think I referenced the last time you were on, Kevin, who's great. I also really like Grace Carolyn Curry, who was in Fall. She's
Yeah.
fantastic as well. Man,
Can
there's
we
just
put-
so many good actresses.
Can we put let's pull from Ari Aster's camp. Let's put Toni Collette in there.
Of course.
And let's let her use her fucking accent for once, by the way, because
I
she
love
always
her
has to,
accent.
she always has to play an American woman, and it bugs the shit out of me.
Can I pick another person that's not exactly like a scream queen, but could absolutely be a scream queen? Like, I don't think she's
Sure.
been in any horror movies as far as I know, but Saoirse Ronan.
Yes.
She just has that look. Like, she just has that look that I'm like, you
The
should
Lovely
be in a horror
Bones,
film.
was she in that? Was she in
She was, and she's in Lady Bird, and she's in the new adaptation of the one that the director of Lady Bird directed. It's Little Women. She's in Little Women.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, she's great. But what I had an idea too. I had a proposition. What if we just like had like old scream queens? Like, it's set in the 80s, but then we have these older scream queens that like are like maybe integrated in with these like new age scream
ones?
queens. So it's like you get like Heather Langenkamp and Nev Campbell and like all these, like, it would just be so like meta, but like it would be so fucking great to have like.
I mean, everyone's doing it.
James is literally clapping at the idea.
There was a fly, but I do agree. Well, everyone's doing a multiverse film now, guys. So maybe this is our way in. Like,
we should wait. We should just
multiverse
write a
of fear.
Yes. Oh man.
Let's make it a slasher where there's like 40 like final girls in there, and they're all like converging on all the big bads.
Or we did it like Spider-Man, the multiverse type thing, where someone keeps getting dragged into all these different like horror films, kind of a thing, where it's like, oh shit,
right?
And then they have to keep like teaming up to, I don't know. That'd be fun.
I feel like there's room for a Cabin in the Woods style multiverse where like where just like there's a prison full of monsters, there's a prison full of final girls, and like you just open the doors and that's it. Like
I heard this great idea. Are you guys a fan of the movie The Monster Squad?
I've never seen it, but I've
never seen it either, I don't think.
Oh, dude, check it out. It is a great 80s. It's like the Goonies, but with Universal monsters.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And they take on Frankenstein and Dracula and the Mummy and the Wolfman and all that stuff. And I remember I listened to my favorite podcast, Horror Movie Night, and they were talking about.
Wow, that's
wow, yeah. I was gonna say, I was like.
I mean, at least it was a horror podcast, so I can't really, But you must be hurt by that, Michael.
My ego's a little bit bruised. It's fine. I'm just kidding.
Hey, there's favorite, and then there's
I love how me and James are both like, hold up.
there's favorite. There's favorite podcasts, and then there's another level beyond favorite, Michael. Okay.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
That sounds like someone making something up.
Yeah.
There's favorite podcasts, and then there's a lifestyle. Okay.
Okay, that's fair. Okay.
Look, a second draft is always good. So.
We love horror, and I was a teenage film snob. Or lifestyles, all right.
Yes. Household names is what we are.
At least in my house,
when we say that within our own houses, like the people in my house know of the podcast.
Like their household names because we go around and tell everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're like, now I'm in this room. I was teenage film snob. We love horror. Midnight Terrors. Now I'm in this room, and you just keep saying it again.
It's a multiverse of podcasts.
But the Monster Squad, I heard an idea on Horror Movie Night where they were talking about maybe remaking it, and the idea that the one co-host had was instead of the Universal monsters, update it to Freddy, to Michael, to Jason, to Chucky, and they have to take on that group of them. We could do something like that and put the old final girls in there.
Ooh,
well, there was an idea. I don't know if you heard this, but back in the early 2000s, Dimension, or like the Weinstein Group, I know it's a triggering name. The Weinstein Group had got access to all the Dimension characters, which was Michael and Jason and I think Pinhead, and Bob Weinstein spoke to Kevin Smith, and he was like, they did, was it Laurel and Hardy, or I can't remember which comedy group, but like there's a comedy group, Meet the Monsters. I think it was Laurel and Hardy. I think it was the other one. Abbott and Costello. Abbott and Costello Meet the Monsters. Yeah. Why don't we do a 2000s upgrade and it's Jay and Silent Bob Meet the Monsters? And he was like, and Kevin was like, look, he goes, that's a great idea, but I'm kind of doing my own thing. But it has been pitched before, so.
I'm
inside
busy. I'm
of-
too busy doing Tusk right now, so I'll have to get
I
back
mean,
to
I
you.
like Tusk, so
I love
I
Tusk, too.
don't. So
this was
I don't.
this was like 13 years before Tusk. I think it's
I know,
next.
but I had to give a little dig at that movie. I'm sorry.
I love Tusk too.
I don't
Tusk
hate
is
that
so
movie.
dumb.
I don't hate it, but I'm just like, what?
Look,
was the
it's a
point?
bad movie, but it is a ton of fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's look, it's
Can
not,
we
it's not Red
also-
State, which I love. Red State's great.
Yeah. Can we also say that quick side note, quick plug, I guess you can say. Not really, but I'll say it is. Me and Jason and the guys from Reviewed to Death, when we did our clown crossover episode, we were talking about we were just shooting the shit for a little bit. And I was talking about how clowns scared me, and Jason said, "Could you not sit on the toilet after you saw Jaws?" And he was referencing a Jay and Silent Bob thing where like Jay was afraid to sit on the toilet because Jaws is in the water and the shark can come out of the water. And I said, "Can we please make a movie about that concept called Ass Sharks?"
And didn't they
And-
make a movie called like Toilet? It's like a shark that comes out of a toilet or something.
Probably.
It's like
And then
Ghost
Jason-
Shark or something.
Yeah, Jason was
So
like,
bad.
"Guys, Midnight Terrors Reviewed to Death, Ass Sharks starring Tara Reid."
Yeah. I will say
And then we go
Tara
to
Reid. Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're good,
Continue.
man. Go ahead.
No, you go. And then I'll
Oh no, I was just
my
gonna say
point.
Jason was like, "Just go to Sci-Fi and they'll put it out."
Seriously. I was also gonna say Tara Reid is also very underrated because like her whole scene in Urban Legend is so fucking good when she's getting chased through like the library, like the big ass like school.
Mm.
Have you
Dude,
guys
I just watched Urban Legend for the first time a few months ago. That movie's a lot of fun.
It's really good. It's real, and Rebecca Gayheart is fucking great. I love her as the
Yep.
villain.
Spoilers for a 30-year-old movie.
Dude,
Sorry,
no,
James, if you
that-
haven't
No, I've seen
that.
it. I've seen it. It's been a long
Okay.
time
that
since I've
movie
seen it. But I've seen
also,
it.
that movie, I will be honest, I know it's like an Urban Legend thing, but the way they execute it is perfect. That
Yeah.
movie for me almost rivals Scream for a creepy ass opening from the 90s.
Yeah.
Like when they do the whole bit of the killer in the back seat at the gas station, like, and then Brad
Yeah.
Dourif there of all people being like, "Someone's in the back seat."
Yeah, it's so good.
It's so creepy, dude.
Every now and then I get a little bit. When she's singing so terribly at the beginning, ugh. She deserved to get an axe to the head.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, that was directed by Jamie Blanks, who also did Valentine. And
Oh, dude, Valentine's great.
I do
And,
like Valentine, but it makes no damn fucking sense.
I only bring it up because I've actually met Jamie Blanks because his cousin and I worked together slinging DVDs a few years ago. So that's
shit.
about the.
Okay.
Look, it's
bragging
it's
now,
no
bro?
John Carpenter interview. It's no Blair Witch interview, but I met him once. I remember his cousin goes, "James wants to be a filmmaker. What advice would you give him?" And he goes, "Write good movies." So like that was like you could tell.
Was that a
he'd been-
dig at Valentine? Oh.
I don't know, but I feel like that was like he'd been asked that question so often. He was just is like just write good scripts. I was like, "Oh, thanks for the advice. Cool."
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was planning on writing something awful, so I'm glad you cleared that up for me.
My whole career path changed when I heard
Yeah.
that word of advice.
Yeah.
You know,
Also,
in an alternate timeline, I could have made Jeepers Creepers the new one, whatever it's called.
So I actually have a really cool idea for a Jeepers Creepers movie.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
I would love.
Is
I
this
would
a documentary
love.
about the original filmmaker? Because
No. Oh God.
Mm-mm.
Ugh, I don't
Jeepers
even want
Creepers.
to talk about that piece
Yeah.
of shit.
Nope,
Anyway.
Nope.
I would love to do like an origin story of Kenny and Darla, like the two people that he finds in the basement, like the two high
Yeah,
school
dude.
sweethearts. I would love, and I have ideas for it. Like I have actually like really good ideas for it. Like I wanted to do like I kind of wanted to do an opening scene where it takes place in like the early like 1800s. And it's like, so like horse wagon, buggy days. And like, I was thinking of like having like an opening scene where like a boy or a girl in the village goes missing. And like all these people from like the 1800s kind of know about this creature already. Like it's already kind of like these people already know about him. And it's set in the same, like, I don't know where I'd set it, but like they go out to like kind of like a witch hunt, like with torches and shit. They go out to like hunt him down. And I was thinking it'd be kind of epic to have like this entire like opening scene where he's just ripping all these fucking people apart. Like they find him in like they find him in like a field or something. And he's like eating like the person that went missing or something. And I don't know, I thought it would be cool. And then it flashes to present day, like 1978 or whatever. And I had like this cool idea of like how he got acquired, because everybody asks, how did he acquire that license plate that says beating you? And I said, what if he got it from like some fucking like hot shot piece of shit that drives like the sports car, and he kills the guy in the sports car at the very beginning, like, and then takes the license plate and puts it on the back of that like truck. And that's how
great.
you get that's what I was thinking. I was like, that would be like just fun stuff like that. And then I had another cool idea where it's like Kenny and Darla, like they go to like this like fair or something, like it's like this fair thing, and like maybe there's like a corn maze or something, or like a haunted house, you know how they have like those fun houses. And like I thought it'd be kind of cool if maybe like the creeper had like incorporated himself into the fun house, so that I love that. I love that. So he can like incorporate it into like, he can smell people's fear, and that's how he hunts his victims, as he goes into this like haunted house thing or something. I don't know.
That's cool. I like that.
Dude, that reminds me of that more recent movie that I think went to Shudder and has since gotten like a Blu-ray and a DVD release. But Haunt.
I love that movie so much.
That movie's
So I haven't seen Haunt, but after you talking about Haunt on your show, Michael, I was like, I need to watch Haunt. It sounds amazing.
Dude, check it out.
Good.
Haunt is like a cult classic in the making.
So good.
I had an idea.
My legs like forgot how to work. I almost stood up and the computer almost went over.
I had an idea years ago for a Friday the 13th movie, because I was like, oh, here's an idea. And this is the premise. I don't even need to tell plot points or anything. What if Camp Crystal Lake opened? That's my premise for Friday the 13th movie, because like they never do it. It's always in the off season. It's always before the camp opens. Like you've got machetes coming through water slides, cutting children in half. Like it's suddenly way more scary, because like I think maybe in part 8 with Tina the Psychic, or part 7 the Psychic, it is open technically. But I'm like, why wouldn't you set it like in the middle of summer where the kids are there? And like, that's my premise for Friday the 13th. Like,
going back to the casting thing, can we also?
This question has given so much conversation.
I know,
because she hasn't done that much. Could we get Pamela Springsteen back from Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3?
Yes, please.
Yeah, why not?
Yes,
have you seen those, James?
Yeah. I love the Sleepaway Camp. I mean, obviously, 2 and 3 aren't quite one, but I do like them. But that first Sleepaway Camp is one of my favorite horror films of all time. I think it's criminally underrated.
Sleepaway Camp.
I used to Jason was my guy. I was like, yeah, Jason's great. And then I saw Sleepaway Camp. I'm like, oh, it's all about Angela. Like, this is a great.
Angela's a beast.
Yeah.
And Pamela Springsteen as a wisecracking 80s comedy killer is fantastic. I love when she decapitates someone and puts their head in the television in front of the girlfriend and goes, "Hey, look who's on TV."
Yeah.
That's a really underrated franchise. Like, definitely down with that. I'm glad that. Oh, what's her name? Who plays Angela? I completely spaced in the first one.
Yeah, Felissa Rose.
That's it. Like, she's made a comeback as well. Like, Alexander, there's a huge chunk of time where she didn't want to talk about it. She was embarrassed by it, and now she's back and she's in the horror community. Like, it's so good to see. Like,
Dude, did you see how fast I answered that?
Yeah,
I didn't even finish the question. I was like, Felissa Rose.
Yeah,
that's how I am with people. People always go to me. They're like, "Who was that person that was in that movie?" You know, and I'm like, "Well, what was the movie about?" And they're like, they say like 2 things. And I'm like, "Oh yeah, that was what's her face? That was Ali Larter."
Michael.
Oh, Ali Larter's a good pick as well.
Man, it's gonna be insane. It's just gonna be movie references.
Yes,
and like all this crazy stuff that we've been doing, because we're like the same human being. I love it.
Well, we did this the other day, Kevin, when we were doing your show. We were trying to figure out who Stephen Lang was, and you're like, just IMDb it. And Jason, I'm like, no. Jason and I, we must figure this out. We can't go to IMDb. We know the answer. And then, like I said, I'm like, oh, Stephen Lang. Yeah, like it was just one of those things.
Oh man. Or sometimes like you'll just think of something like later on, you're like, oh yeah, it was that person. Like you just like you're just dead asleep in the middle of the night, and all of a sudden you just like sit up straight in bed. You're like, oh yeah, it was Felissa Rose in Sleepaway Camp.
Get to rest.
Felissa Rose. It was Felissa Rose.
Felissa Rose.
You're like, I can sleep soundly now.
That's actually how I wake up every morning, screaming at Felissa Rose. Just everyone's like, "Oh, James is awake."
That's like a weird Steve Carell moment. Felissa Rose.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I think we may be at the end of the show.
Yeah.
So. we've been talking with each other for almost 5 hours.
Yeah,
God.
like this is definitely the longest episode, and you guys know I don't edit, so it's gonna be like a 4-hour show.
Okay, man, I can't wait to listen back to this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what we talked about, but I had a good time.
I mean, I know what the title will entail, but I don't know if we
is it Felissa Rose? This is just
Felissa Rose. That's what you should put in
all
like
caps and exclamation point.
what's the best advice we can give for a podcast? Felissa Rose.
Yeah.
Yeah. What speaks to Felissa Rose?
First and foremost, be yourself, and second of all, Felissa Rose.
Oh my god.
Jesus Christ.
Just to put it in context, I woke up, I uploaded today's episode and went straight into talking with Michael and Kevin for an hour before we recorded. I haven't had breakfast. It's almost lunchtime.
Yeah. I haven't eaten today yet either. And then I have to go to a friend's house after this. So I'm like,
I was eating for part of the episode.
I know. He's there sitting with his bowl of chicken, just like, yeah, keep talking, guys.
And by the length
off camera.
Yeah, and by the length of this episode, he had breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Because this episode took all day.
Michael, get those video cameras out of my room, bro.
Well, you said Halloween Resurrection was your favorite film, so he's just trying to recreate it for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
No, like that's the ending to the podcast is I get killed.
Yep.
Isn't that the ending of all of it? Oh, no, she's back. Ah!
She just comes rushing at the screen.
Jump
I can't
scare.
turn her. Wait, there we go.
Oh, those eyes are so creepy.
They remind me of the Deadeye eyes in Evil Dead. That's what they look like to me.
Mm.
Yeah. Good movie.
For the people wondering what's going on, Michael is just showing us his nun doll again. What's he showing us? None of your business. Okay.
None.
They're like, guys, stop paying attention. Michael's just showing off his nun doll again.
He gets me with that dumb dad joke every time. It just none your business.
None your
it just cracks me up.
Well, and when you start throwing across the room, we call you a nunchucker, but that's another thing. Yes, dad jokes galore.
The worst nun meme I ever saw was someone holding up a picture of their empty wallet, and it said "the nun" because the wallet was empty.
God,
it's like that's so dumb.
Jesus.
Okay.
Jesus,
before we wrap things up,
again, happening reference for context, by the way, for people listening. That's a like Adam Sandler lookalike.
Yeah,
Adam Sandler lookalike actor, whatever. It's like he just goes cheese and crackers.
Yeah.
Before we, my face is in pain.
Guys, this James, thank you so much, man.
Yeah,
this has
thank
been
you,
glorious, dude. I love this.
It's been an absolute treat. Like I didn't know what was going to happen. I was worried it was going to get boring just talking about podcasting, but it's been the most fun. Like, it's gone better than imagined. We all get along one-on-one, so I didn't think it'd be a problem at all. But like, it's just. My biggest thing was like, we're going to talk over each other too much, but we really didn't. We actually kind of like, and that's because we're brilliant podcasters. And what we can tell you is when it comes to podcasting, just let your guests talk. There you go. Now it's like, the last line of the show, they got to the topic.
Now you work?
Yeah.
Oh man,
Kevin, where can they find you on social media? Tell them about your show before we get out of here.
Yeah, Midnight Terrors, weekly horror podcast, episodes every Sunday, and there's bonus episodes that are coming out constantly. We just celebrated our 1-year anniversary on July 3rd, and very, very excited for that. Thank you so much. And we're talking different movies every week, different horror topics. We've got some big guests coming up on the show. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook.
That was her congratulating you for the year. I'm so sorry.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. Can you post a video of this on your Instagram, James, please?
Yeah. I'll just go hour 4. Where is it?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I did not mean to.
No, okay.
That's good.
Put your arms down now. You're making everyone laugh.
My face hurts so badly.
You're embarrassing us. Stop
No, but you can find us on Facebook and Instagram under Midnight Terrors Podcast. I'm very active on there, so come say what's up and send us your movie picks via social media. You can also send us an email at midnightterrorspodcast@gmail.com. Send us movie picks, topic discussions, and come talk some horror with us. We're very active. We're very welcoming and very friendly. So come talk with us.
Absolutely.
You guys are fucking awesome too.
Love your show so much. I've been on it twice now, and
Michael, flattery gets you everywhere.
Yeah. Every time I talk to Kevin, I'm like, so when can I come on next? Like, please.
You say the same thing to me too.
Yeah, I know, exactly. But Michael, tell them about your show. Where can they find? Obviously, yeah. You know what? I'm not going to talk for you. You can talk for yourself.
Oh, you're fine. I was just about to say the same thing you were about to say. As it's been said a few times now, I'm on a hiatus right now. But I have plenty of. I mean, if you're a new listener, you have plenty of episodes to get through before I start up again. So, I mean, enjoy those episodes. I don't know when I'm coming back. I am coming back at some point. I just need to take some time away to focus on other ventures. Is that what the word is? Other prospects, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, you can find me at the We Love Horror Podcast on Instagram. I still try to post like horror stuff on there because I try to post more than just podcast stuff. I post memorabilia, stuff like that. I do this thing, I haven't done it in a while, where I do a film appreciation post and I just pick a film at random and just put it on my social media and give it kind of like its stripes and talk about it. I do stuff like that. Yeah, and you can find me on anywhere you stream your podcasts. You can DM me. Yeah, I'm open to everybody, so just check me out.
Slide into those DMs. It's worth your while.
I was about to say that exact same thing. Slide into Michael's DMs.
And slide into her DMs as well.
Especially after this sausage party.
This is such a love fest. I love it.
It is. I love it so much.
Obviously, you're listening to this show, so you know where to find me. But in case you forgot, I was a teenage film snob with underscores between each word because Instagram hates me. I rarely post about the podcast. I actually post more Blu-rays and stuff like that, but I do put up little clips from the shows and stuff like that, and I'm constantly calling out these boys because they're fantastic. Yes. Podcast is available everywhere, I believe, but definitely Spotify, definitely Apple Podcasts. If you want to buy some sweet Merch, head to TeePublic. You can get a very cool T-shirt. I'm not wearing it today, but that's because I woke up in my pajamas. I was like, I'm not getting changed. But you get some T-shirts, some hoodies, some stickers, and we've got some really cool stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks. We are doing our Apocalypse series still, and I've got some very exciting stuff I'm hopefully going to be doing in August or September with some bonus episode spin-off type stuff, but I'm still getting that all organized. And these boys will be back whenever they like, because as you can tell, they're goddamn treasures. So much content, so much fun. Thank you both so much. We didn't really talk about podcasting that much in the end, but we talked about the nightmare of scheduling. Like, we had to work on 3 time zones to make this work, but we actually made it. It actually went kind of flawlessly. I think we picked a date. It was like, yep, works for all of us.
Yeah.
Thank God.
And James, thank you for putting this together.
Yes.
Again, we've said it a million times. Thank you to Harley and Tyler for bringing us together because.
That's enough for them. Just kidding.
No, it's fine. Let's keep that going. More love fest. But I just want to say that by far the best part about this podcasting thing is the friendships that have been formed.
Absolutely.
And you and Michael are like 2 of my best friends at this point. And
agreed.
Say thank you to you guys and everyone in the podcasting community. So I'll get off my soapbox now, but I just want to say thank you, James, for putting this together. And thank everyone that is a part of the community, Michael as well. Yes. And we love you guys.
Yes, thank you, James. I'm gonna basically not say it because everything I want to say is what you guys just both said. So thank you guys so much for supporting us and listening to our episodes. And I don't think either one, like the 3 of us, would be here without our listeners and the support and without each other. So thank you, Kevin and James, for being awesome. You guys are like my best friends. So
our couple name is Kevin James, actually, so I really appreciate that.
Ooh, that's cool. Yeah, Kevin James. Kevin James.
They got Kevin James on the show? Well, technically.
It's actually Kevin Michael James, but...
That's the name of our spin-off podcast, right?
Yes,
exactly.
Kevin Michael James, and it
Michael
just sounds
James.
like someone's first, middle, and last name.
Yeah, no, but
Oh,
I
my
smell spin-off coming soon. Pod is thicker than water podcast coming soon with us three.
Ooh,
I forgot
there we
about that
go.
joke from like
Yes.
4 hours ago.
Yeah, we're getting matching tattoos, guys, that say "pod is thicker than water." So
Yes,
Oh, well, that should be the episode title, shouldn't it? Like that's
yes, it should.
you should, dude.
that or
That's awesome.
Felissa Rose.
That I like the Felissa Rose thing too. Felissa Rose. You're not going to get to that
Felissa
till the
Rose.
last like 3 hours, but you know.
Well, I wouldn't have an American audience if it wasn't for you guys.
Or
so.
none your business.
Oh, that's what it should be. Yeah, that's exactly. Why did it
Alec
take?
agrees.
Yeah. No, thank you guys so much. Without you, I would have a much smaller audience. I wouldn't have anyone in the States listening to me if it wasn't for your shows, having me on your shows and coming on my shows. I definitely appreciate it. And love you both very much. It's good to
Love
have
you
you
too,
on.
James. Love you too,
Love you,
Kevin.
buddy.
Did you hear that,
Love you,
Michael?
Michael.
I used emotions.
I know he said he loved me for once. I've been telling him I love him for months, and it's girl.
I know, like well, this is the place to do it.
People listening, tell your friends you love them.
I tell my friends to nauseum that I love them, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Thank you. You told me that 7 times today." And I said, "I know. I don't
Yeah.
fucking care."
Dude, spread the love. Tell your friends that you love them. And yes, love you, James and Michael. Y'all are the best.
Tell them you love them and say Felissa Rose.
Felissa Rose.
That
Felissa Rose.
None of your business.
She's like one of
that-
those sky. She's one of those sky dancers. You know those like
Yeah.
things that you would twist. She's like Felissa Rose.
Next episode, Balak's gonna twerk.
God, I'm so dumb. No, I was imagining when I was doing that a little bit earlier, Kevin, and you were laughing. I was imagining her being on one of those like boards, you know, like the things that like move. She's just
Yeah.
like spinning around on it, like. Anyway, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I've had too much
Oh
fun
my
with Valak
God,
today.
That is going to do it for this week's episode of the show. Thank you again to my wonderful, irreplaceable, excellent guests, Michael and Kevin. Go and check out their shows. You're doing yourself a disservice if you don't listen to them. And as I say, every goddamn week on this show, I was a teenage film snob, but I promise you, I'm trying to be better. See you next week.
Bye, guys.